going on, my jumpsters? This is me, Simon, again. This is the second time I'm uploading today, as you can tell by the teardrops. The fake teardrops I fucking put on with makeup. Oh, fuck, okay. Fucking Be Real just went off. Bro, that fucking thumbnail's insane. Look at that shit. What the hell? Why was 74 posted twice? What happened? Wait, I just want to see 75's intro. Is it glitchy, or...? Wait, what the fuck?! Okay, this is part 79, by the way. What the fuck?! Is this one glitchy too? Hold on.
What made this way?
Oh, it is glitchy, you're right, okay. This one is glitchy, okay.
What is the attraction?
Oh my god, that's terrifying.
What keeps us fascinated? This is the story.
I'm scared! I'm fucking scared! What the fuck? I'm terrified. How did I not notice that? No, wait. Was this in the previous one?
The attraction.
It was! Okay.
Fascinated. This is the story. What made her this way?
Okay, I was like, there was a sudden there was kind of a glitch there. I didn't, like, I didn't point it out because I wasn't sure if it was just me or not. Fuck. Yeah, I guess it was part of the video. So, like, the glitches are, like, more subtle here. But then as it goes on, it just gets gradually worse. Like, let's look at 83. Let's see how that... Oh, yeah. Oh yeah, no, it's way worse here. Fucking hell, that's terrifying. We're getting closer. We are getting closer, guys. We are.
On August 18, 2019,
Shit!
Christine, while masquerading as her supposed husband, Magi-Chan Sonichu, who had supposedly possessed her body, shared on his Twitter account the
I'm
word
terrified.
focus, according to her words.
I'm actually scared. What the hell?
Defined as a person who has attained eminence in their field, or was an inspiration to others, claiming that he and Christine were such luminescent individuals.
Oh.
Magi-Chan instead could have inspired others to check out this video's sponsor, LXXVPN. The virtual private network is running an amazing campaign where you can get a 3-year subscription for only $1
specifically
per month, plus an extra 3 months for free if you visit the link in the description. One of my favorites out of LXXVPN's many features is it allows you to access geo-restricted content on the likes of Netflix, Hulu, or HBO Go, which will differ or may not even be available depending on the country you're physically in. So with just a click on their simple user-friendly interface, I can change the location of my IP and DNS addresses, and Netflix thinks that I'm suddenly in Japan, so I can enjoy the hottest content Japan has to offer. What's more,
like hentai! No, I'm kidding.
Protects you from privacy snooping, as well as blocks.
Why did you say that so loud?
Of no repute from trying to steal your data, allowing you to explore the internet safely on an unlimited number of devices of any kind. This is a limited time offer, so check out the link down in the description.
Wait, was that a fucking sponsor?
With another 3 months for free and a 30-day
Was that a sponsor?
guarantee.
I literally just
Special
fucking realized. What the hell happened?
VPN for sponsoring this video.
Oh, that's fun. I forgot he was in Japan at some point.
YouTuber Ben Saint, who had previous links with Chris-Chan lore, asked Magi-Chan about an alleged city in Dimension C-197 that was harnessing the power of slime for endless gang violence, a concept Saint created and used in his own comics and online community. Magi-Chan took his concerns seriously and quelled his trollsome worries.
Naturally.
That there will not be any post-apocalyptic scenario caused by the slime, for he had first seen, checked, double-checked, and rechecked all possible timelines. On August 20th, Magi-Chan wrote that there was a falsified death certificate for Chris's mother, Barbara, that should not be trusted, for she was still alive.
Are you dead right now?
A new photo of Barbara to validate his claim.
God, she looks more fucked up.
Barbara had been told that Magi-Chan
Bro, that person was right.
over Christine's body. Magi-Chan wrote that she had, and had taken it very calmly, without any emotional outbursts or stress. Another user commented that the reaction may have been due to her suffering from dementia, a claim that Magi-Chan refuted.
Really? I don't know, she looks like she has dementia. She does not look very lucid, does she?
She was instead fated to have a quote-unquote dip in the fountain of youth. On August 22nd, he tweeted about the Japanese concept of otaku, or people who heavily invest in their hobbies and have very little social life.
I need more black beats.
That despite the messiness of Christian's room prior to the house fire of January 2014,
yeah, literally.
in his own way,
Damn, a whole
panorama
panoramic.
Cool for present and future generations. However, unlike other otakus, Christine was able to become a social butterfly in recent years. He further wrote about how Chris was an accidental trendsetter, as seen, for example, in her Nintendo game Animal Crossing documentary video from 2003.
Oh my god!
Considered as one of the first ever Let's Plays, and also her dance with Magi-Chan at the 2017 BloBer.
Oh, fuck it out.
Magi-Chan applauded those who live their lives while changing from introverts to social butterflies. On August 24th, Chris, under the guise of Magi-Chan, wrote on Twitter that he was listening to the YouTube video series Chris-Chan, A Comprehensive History, made by Samuel 2.1, which documented Chris's life in detail. He alleged that according to the information in the videos, Christian successfully predicted the conception of Sonic the Hedgehog games that were solely released on Nintendo consoles.
Oh my god!
Later that day, Magi-Chan wrote on Chris's behalf that she was currently watching part 4 of the Comprehensive History series, which addressed Christian's friendship with Megan Schroeder. He corrected the claims made by Gino Samuel that Megan had introduced to Chris My Little Pony and Sailor Moon, and that in actuality reality, Chris had watched those animated series during his childhood and teenage years.
Fucking
the next
ass.
day, Null, the administrator of the QB Farms, revealed that Chris had suddenly messaged him. The contents of her texts were not revealed, but Null claimed that Chris became upset because he refused to refer to her as Magi-Chan. Chris's thoughts and actions made Null sad because it reminded him of the mental decline of Terry A. Davis, a computer programmer with a strong following on QB Farms, who suffered with schizophrenia, who after struggling with homelessness had apparently committed suicide in 2018. On the 26th, Christine briefly returned to her main Twitter account to reply negatively to a Twitter user with a protected account who posted about the final episode of My Little Pony, Friendship is Magic, the conclusion of which Chris rejected. Members of the QB Farms theorized that it was because the protected account had approved Chris to follow them and not Magi-Chan, hence why she had to switch accounts to relay her message. On August 27th, the supposed Magi-Chan revealed that he had finished watching Gino Samuel's so-called chronological history series on Chris-Chan and wrote a tweet thread regarding some past events which allegedly involved him. I will attest in those moments when she played split personality. Back then, I was in her mind. I was trying to talk to her, including, I want out, Christian. And, Christian, we both know what we want. We should let us out. The comments under that video, as mentioned in part 17, I typed those, personally, while in mild possession of her at the time. I was the Christopher in that back and forth in those few videos. Also, when she was younger than 7 years old, I talked to her through her nose talking, working as her vocal contrast. I've always been present and as guiding and helpful as I could possibly be from the C-197 side of the dimensional curtain. I could not get through all of the time, though, and I knew she was. Fated to learn the difficult way through the many trials and tribulations with the online ships she had. I felt crestfallen every time when she recorded herself gay-shaming, and I cried when she used the Bible verses to back it up. I tried to tell her
what the fuck?
It was a freaking parody, Christian. You were not supposed to take it serious on the Leviticus quote inspired by the Family Guy moment. When I typed in the comments of that music video, I was feeling frustrated. I have always known she was a bisexual. I want her out in being free to love her as she was then, as well as being fully in Dimension 1218. She subconsciously knew she was bisexual, but she had felt really upset and adamant about herself back then, and the fact that the haters were throwing various labels upon her, aside from and including gay. Had no one called her any of the gender identity terms alongside the other negative adjectives, LXXIV_Greg Sonichu would have more likely realized, understood, accepted, and come out as bisexual and trans woman a lot sooner. Clear a throat, deep breaths. That is all for now. Thank you. Purple heart, lightning emoji.
Oh, fun.
Later that same day, Chris as Magi-Chan joined the dedicated Christian worship forum or subreddit, Cult of Quick, on the site Reddit, as a moderator, asking other members to share their stories of how Christine had positively affected their lives.
That's gonna be hard to do.
Christine returned to her own official Twitter account to retweet a tweet from philanthropist Bill Polt, who voted to grant $2,700 in cash to a random person that retweeted his message. Later on, she went back to her Magi-Chan account and followed the account representing Java, an agency serving elders, caregivers, and their families. A Twitter user then wrote to her that it was acceptable to admit that she no longer believed in things she did as a child, and did not have to make up justifications for her changes of thought.
Yeah, exactly.
Magi-Chan wrote that Chris realized this, and would make sure she addresses this topic once she returned from California. When asked, Magi-Chan elaborated that Christine was in Magi-Chan's body in California, accompanied by her alleged spouse, the Pokemon Mewtwo, completing her events regarding the dimensional merge. Also on that day, Magi-Chan, while possessing Chris's body, wrote on the online chatting application Discord to Chris's supporter, Jacob Sockness, that he thought Jacob looked sexy while wearing a certain one-piece pajama. They went on to discuss a proposed trip to California, where Chris would meet up with Sockness. Finally, the supposed Magi-Chan privately messaged Gino Samuel on Twitter, letting him know that the 20-part series at the time helped not only Christine, but Magi-Chan himself in better recollecting the events of the past, and learning more about the activity associated with the trolls before 2014. Magi-Chan reflected that she has come a long way in her character development, and thanked Gino for his work, looking forward to future videos. On August 29th, when an inquiring Twitter user asked for an update of the new kitten posse that had wandered into the Chandler's home about 3 weeks prior, Magi-Chan revealed that in spite of her best efforts to take care of her, the kitten passed away. Barbara and Magi-Chan cried for her, even though he apparently foresaw that the kitten would not survive for very long. Soon after,
because they're under your quote-unquote care.
And Roastu playing the MLP card game Twilight Sparkle's secret chipfic folder. On the final day of August, Magi-Chan shared a new fundraiser on the site GoFundMe, made by one Alan Christopher, a fan of Chris and romantic admirer of Jacob Sockness, who resided in the United Kingdom. The $5,000 goal fundraiser was apparently to fund Christine's participation in Christopher's book series that aids charities and programs supporting people with learning development problems. Part of Christine's duties in the project were set to be travels to the UK and Japan. Throughout early September, Magi-Chan continuously posted new custom cards that he and Christine made for her upcoming expansion deck for the card game Twilight Sparkle's secret chipfic folder. Some of the artwork was credited to Chris, while the others bore Magi-Chan's signature. On September 2nd, the supposed Magi-Chan shared another fundraising campaign posted on the site Just Giving that was also created by Alan Christopher, which purported to be collecting funds for Christine's trip around the world with Christopher and his friends, in addition to creating more comic books. The next day,
like
Christine resubscribed to the Patreon page of noted My Little Pony creator, Dr. Wolf. This drew the attention of some of Christine's own current and former Patreon funders, who criticized her for spending most of her time conversing with Jacob Sockness and even contributing to other Patreon creators, instead of paying attention to her own financial backers. On September 6th, Magi-Chan reported that Barbara had her van checked and found that it needed repairs that would cost him $1,000. He asked for people to donate to Sockness's fundraising page for his proposed trip to Chris's house, hoping to use the funds for the Chandler's personal matters. Jacob agreed on the arrangement. This tweet raised the attention of one Righteous for Quick, a Twitter user purporting to be a supporter of Chris Chan, masquerading as a feminine LGBTQ-inspired take of the Halloween movie franchise villain, Michael Myers, who warned Christine to be wary of Jacob Sockness. Righteous would also post edited videos on YouTube praising and seemingly deifying Christine.
That's creepy. I like how that's the thumbnail of the video.
In order to encourage people to contribute to Sockness's GoFundMe page, Jacob shared a 4-month-old Reddit post that he wrote, purporting to be a transcript of a channeling session during which Magi-Chan was said to have been controlling Jacob's body. Followers dismissed the conversation as a forgery, solely conceived by Sockness, as Magi-Chan's speech patterns did not match those as seen in his tweets or YouTube video. However, the purported Magi-Chan on Twitter denied that during the session he was calling Christine her hubby, but rather her honey, but forgave this interpretation as channeling and telepathy were tough skills to master. On September 9th, Magi-Chan, allegedly controlling Chris's body, joined the private Discord group for Sonichu Mania, devoted to a team of amateur developers who sought to create a mod or downloadable feature to be implemented into the game Sonic Mania Plus, which would allow the character of Sonic the Hedgehog to take on the appearance of Sonichu, amongst other proposed additional cosmetic alterations. Magi-Chan proceeded to answer questions from some of the members of the Discord, with one commenting that the concept of all original characters existing in the alternate universe, even if they were simply thought of by the creators who did not commit their creations to the physical realm, and that infinite universes contained infinite universes themselves, defied the laws of physics. Magi-Chan told the Inquisitor that it was best for them to throw logic out the window and to not overthink the details of how.
I'm gonna throw myself out the window.
On September 13th, in response to a Twitter user asking others if they had any guilty pleasure waifus or fictional, typically female characters that were romanticized, despite some glaring negative traits, Magi-Chan wrote that Chris's parents, Robert and Barbara, while they were still developing, were his waifu. He singled out Barbara as having been a guilty pleasure waifu, while Bob was said to have been a successful model in Dimension 1218. On September 14th, Magi-Chan declared that Christine had just returned from California with Mewtwo and would regain control of her body soon. Shortly after, Chris returned to her own Twitter account to announce that she had regained control of her body. She then posted a lengthy pre-written account of her travels, noting that while in Magi-Chan's body, she ran from Virginia to California. Along the way, she met up with her old friend, Hannah McLaren, who initially was startled at hearing Magi-Chan's voice telepathically. Afterwards, Chris and Mewtwo traveled to Jacob Sockness' home, who was said to have been civil and kind. Christine admitted to have been horny and sensual, and so she leapt into Jacob's body pillow fashioned to look like her, which allowed the two to hug each other.
I would rather not know about that.
Travels and adventures, which included fighting off demons summoned by Jacoba, the demonic entity introduced to her by Sockness. Also on the 14th, the Sonichu Mania developer group held a 3.5-hour live stream on YouTube discussing the game Sonic Mania Plus and their development of the Sonichu mod. Christine joined them 44 minutes in.
Well, I've been here, I'm here.
I had tweezers, right?
How are you doing, bud?
So, Christine, how have you been?
Been doing pretty good, been doing all right. Magi-Chan and I have been swamped and then we traded bodies the past month. I just got back from California. Boy, is my soul tired. Tell you what, here's a place, tell you what, Sonichu just completed a level. Here's your sample from me. Just alright, jump into the screen!
Die, monster. You don't belong in this world.
No, you belong in Minecraft dimension. What? You're a creeper.
That's actually pretty good.
Do you refer to him as Dr. Eggman or Dr. Robotnik?
Most of the time I go with Robotnik, because that's the one I grew up with.
Yeah,
it's fun, but also, just in
I call him Robotnik
goes name backwards. Into war, I'm gay. I'm gay. You say it slowly, that's what it sounds like. I'm gay.
Do you have any preference on for the Sonichu?
That wasn't even funny to them.
You want to take Tails' place?
You take me and my Sonichu for Chris-Chan Sonichu. I'm replacing Tails. I got the psychic power, so I can levitate.
Okay.
People in the stream chat are like, "Yo, Blue Spike's in the call."
It's like he time traveled.
This is not Blue Spike. This is not Blue Spike. I personally confirm it.
That's insane.
Blue Spike is dead. Good night, everybody.
Does this sound like a dead man to you?
Can we get a shout out to Gino Samuel?
Gino, I liked your series. Through Magi-Chan watching it and me catching up with it in Mental Link, it's a good series and it rounded me out of the bad troll. Worked well. At least he didn't offend me too much.
Yeah, I think he's just doing the series for documentary's sake. I don't think he doesn't want to be mean or anything.
No,
he doesn't. He's a really nice guy.
Yes, I see that. He is. Oh my God! Now the brain's trying to remember one where it said something. Where Gino Samuel had said something. I think he was still singing a song. I think it was one of the more recent videos, not number 21. Although that was a fun epic bar from my father when he answered the phone in part 21.
That was funny, to be fair.
Everyone else went to my daddy. Glad they got him.
Oh, speaking of your family, how's Barb?
He's doing very well. He's actually quite peaceful for her age and everything.
What?
The Sonichu Mania group then quickly deleted the stream and abandoned the project, but Kiwi Farms members managed to archive the stream in time and soon re-uploaded it onto YouTube.
That's insane.
It was at around this time that Chris joined the Place Discord group, populated by a small number of enablers who vowed to win her trust by encouraging her beliefs and would in turn aim to protect her from malicious outsiders. The Discord included Chris's online friend, Magi-Chan Not, an alleged longtime minor troll of Chris, Kyle, also known as Nova, a worker at a suicide hotline, and YouTuber
that's interesting.
invited to join by Not, who was making a multi-part series covering YouTuber and mass murderer Randy
Ironic that a
inspired
troll
by the
works at a
Chris
suicide
a comprehensive
hotline.
history documentary series by Gino Samuel 2.1. Other members who held a less active role in communicating with Chris were Kiwi Farms moderator, the American Hedgehog, and Quickie administrator and former man-in-pickle-suit troll, Marvin. On
So
September
Gino's
16th,
admitting
in response to Ben Saint's musings, Christine wrote a series of tweets reflecting on her infamy. Everyone seems to be compelled by me, especially the Christorians, any outsiders, and I, being meta, end up wondering why. My earliest online content was a fan at Pokemon website, Quake's Pokesite, mostly my more than 2 cents on Pokemon and the TCG. Eventually, I added my Sonichu book pages online. The drama happens with me. The locals take observation and later tell the stories and comment online. Before even the Yep, I'm on TV DVD on February 24th, 2007, the video content was light and spontaneous, and most of the future uploaded videos I made end up featuring rants, shoutings, and crap that would frighten anyone shitless. I recall that there was a mythos about me online. Myself, Chris-Chan, I was an OC in my own stories. Was I real in this reality that is Dimension 1218? And then I was confirmed in late 2007 with that blurry photograph of me in a moment of great shock and stress.
What?
And everyone ended up making fanfictions about me, my family, my peoples, city, nation, and my Pokemon, including Sonichu and Rosechu. In a sense, while I already had my own chronicler, my DC superhero self-counterpart in Metropolis, the Quick Cyclite, everyone here in 1218 was all up in fanficking me, indirectly and directly attempting to alter my own life
I don't know why I just
decisions,
thought that,
as well as those around me, who mainly originated here. Why is everyone compelled to follow me? The answer simply is that you all just do, in fated events, destiny, or whatever. Me? I have known all of my life I was special for some reason, counting being first-person perspective camera 00000000001. I'm awakening, I'm learning, I'm developing, I keep getting stronger, better able, smarter, and powerful, and out of all the fanfic chaos I've made up till now, is it any wonder, as some of you put it cleverly, that Magi-Chan, I, and everyone else of C197 needs to do a bit of retconning? There's something to ponder over. Lightning bolt, blue heart, lightning bolt emojis. On September 18th, Magi-Chan apparently returned to Twitter to inform his followers that he was continuing to converse with other people, many of which from the Kiwi Farms, and vowed to visit the site's administrator, Null, soon. 2 days later, Jacob Sockness wrote that Christine was allegedly planning for a lot of fun for the occasion of his supposed upcoming visit, and that Barbara's birthday during the trip would be better than all 77 that came before it. A seemingly concerned Twitter user urged Christine to wake up to Jacob's arguably manipulative tactics. He denied manipulating her, but admitted to telling her lies that made her feel good, looking forward to write on whatever may transpire in his book series concerning his experiences with channeling sessions and knowledge of demonic entities and alien civilizations. Later on, after Ben Saint began featuring Chris's unicorn self-counterpart character, Nightstar, in his comic, Christine acknowledged that Saint's storyline concerning Nightstar and Maleficent Slime in Milwaukee in the dimension C197 was actually happening. Over in his private Discord, Ben Saint revealed to his followers his plans to keep Christine satisfied with the way he incorporated her characters into his comic, hoping to eventually lead to Chris drawing characters or elements related to Saint's comic as part of Sonichu lore. Later again, in response to a tweet reply thread featuring people seemingly fetishizing people with autism, Chris replied that he was taken aback by the tweets, but also not surprised by it, given the
let's not romanticize autism, let's sexualize it, right?
On September 20th, Chris wrote a lengthy tweet thread explaining why Nightstar in Ben Saint's comic behaved villainously. 2 days later, Saints shared 4 new panels for a slime-focused comic depicting an attack on what appeared to be the World Trade Center Twin Towers of New York City that were destroyed on September 11, 2001. Chris reflected that 9/11 was not fun at all, and reminded Twitter readers that the images were in fact of the Twin Towers that were in New Milwaukee in the C197 dimension, which were fortunately completely devoid of people. Christine then joined Ben Saint's Discord server, which also included Magi-Chan. Also on September 22nd, Chris shared an online petition calling for the production of My Little Pony, Friendship is Magic, Season 10. On September 23rd, during Ben Saint's livestream on the streaming platform Twitch, members of the Place Discord strongly discouraged him from interfering with Chris's life and attempted to blackmail him.
I get it, people are mean. Not
Chris is very knowledgeable.
Sure.
That's why I hate this fucking Twitter.
To be honest.
That's all the bad, dude.
Yeah, I get that, but it just doesn't help.
That's
no,
scary.
I don't want to do anything to hurt Chris. I promise. That wouldn't be funny. Okay, these people on Twitter, they're in there, and they're like, oh, Ben, quit playing along with Chris's bullshit. She's delusional. She's crazy. She needs to go to a therapist. She needs help. I'm here trying to give her tough love. Because I'm gonna fucking fix Chris and make her sane again. And these people are fucking monsters. These people are nightmares. I hate them. They're just there to abuse Chris.
No,
I'm just trying to have a good time, alright? I think Chris is fun. I like her. Sounds cool.
I prefer to not do it at all because Chris is a person and doesn't deserve to be trolled constantly.
I'm not trolling. Chris explicitly told me that she liked the crossover, she liked the idea, she wanted to see it, so I'm making it. How is this trolling? This is nuts.
It just sounds
Yeah, it doesn't seem like
manipulative and not
trolling.
very nice because the way you're putting it anyway sounds really douchebaggy and I don't like it.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Sorry about that, girl.
He claimed on Twitter that their intimidation was for naught since he had no money. During this time,
What?
Sam was continuously posting new panels for
You
his
got no
comic
life.
story, which notably featured Nightstar. This drew criticism from Jacob Sockness, amongst others, who felt he was using Chris's intellectual property for profit. Christine, however, told Jacob to settle down, since Saint was doing no harm. On September 25th, Jacob Sockness posted on Reddit his itinerary for a one-way trip by train from Oakland, California to Charlottesville, Virginia on an undisclosed date in the year 2019. Accompanying the picture, Sockness wrote that allegedly both he and Christine were tested negative for sexually transmitted diseases,
Oh,
and
what?
that he planned to video record themselves having sex and
Ew.
keep it private.
I
vowing to
would
destroy
rather
Chris's
kill
past,
myself,
like
dude.
carpeting bombing Germany in World War II.
What the? Do you see my face? You can't see it.
Members of the QB
I don't want
Farms
you to watch
managed to
that.
match up the arrival and departure times of the connecting trains.
There's
on the trip
nothing,
to
like,
specific routes
explicit
that would
in
bring
that, but
Jacob
I'm probably
to
gonna censor it
Charlottesville
anyway,
at
just 'cause it's
7:01
so
p.m. on
fucking
Saturday,
gross.
September 28, 2019.
I don't like
Forum
it.
users debated whether or not to inform Chris or the relevant authorities about Sockness' arrival. Sockness then privately messaged Chris-Chan-centric YouTuber Gaby, revealing that Chris said she loved him and possibly wanted to be his girlfriend. When Christine heard that Jacob was likely already on his way to her by a train, she was convinced by members of the Place Discord to ask him to turn back, and then recorded a voice message for her followers.
Okay, this is Christine Weston Chandler Sonichu, and I extend this message out to all the individuals who are actually not just all bark and no bite, wanting to intercept Jacob Sockness on his trip to Virginia, or at this point possibly back to California, because I'm pretty much by the time the visit is off. I want you all to intercept and talk with him. Thank you.
Chris then shared the recording along with a series of tweets. I'm just beating myself up over this, but I feel compelled to say something now. Yes, I did indeed tell Jake to return home. And yes, I made the following recorded statement. I have had a really rough day yesterday. My soul, aura, vibrations, and psychic senses were hopping
Even
the
the
walls
music
with me.
they were
I even
fucked up,
fainted,
like-
and Me Too had to possess my limbs to get me from my desk to bed. I crashed and slept
What
for a
in
few
the
hours,
coming
and
shit
then
is
to hear the
this?
more recent statements of him
God
and
damn
my
it.
body just extensively
So
heating up,
dumbass.
counter-arguing. As I could, but I just could simply no longer overlook the red flags of faded warning. When your body gets hot like a macargo, and it hurts, you do not ignore it.
A
Besides
macargo?
which, my
Not
senses
that
and
fucking
psychic links
Pokemon.
have been seriously going off and on like crazy recently, so mainly, on that, I ultimately chose to send Jake back home, and I made the statement to make sure he gets the message. I'm really sorry, Jacob. As much as I do love and care about you, it is simply too soon. Not long after, Chris wrote that it was fated and decided that Jacob return home to California, and that there would be someone waiting at the train station in Chicago to hand him a return ticket. Sockness afterwards
wow.
claimed that the itinerary he shared was faked, and that he was in fact coming to visit Christine around Halloween time via plane.
I'm scared.
On September 26th, Chris wrote an alleged message from Sockness' alter ego, Michiro, directed at Sockness. Michiro stated that even though the journey to Chris's Sonichu temple was an escape from the evil influences of the demonic Jacoba, his alliances with certain nefarious characters served as a reason for his need to return back to California and to rethink his decisions. Christine then
What
relayed
the
to
hell,
Jacob
man?
that she felt terrible for telling him to go back home because she loved and cared for him. She added that she was not in the best health situation to take on a guest, and that even though she was immortal, she could still feel pain. Jacob then tweeted that he would terminate his Twitter account since his involvement with the dimensional merge ended in failure. He then turned to Twitter user T. Gaspero, who practiced dark magic, and proclaimed that he would be Sockness' mentor. Jacob then sought to summon chaos in the aftermath of Chris's rejection. The following day, Sockness confessed that he was in no position to cause any harm to Christine. He admitted he got angry earlier because he tried hard to prove to her how much he loved her, such as spending $1,500 of his own money and losing 30 pounds of weight from stress and exercising, only to be rejected because of the actions of a troll. He promised to try reach her again with a friend at some later point. Chris then confirmed that Jacob was on his way back home to San Francisco. On September 28th, Christine wrote on Twitter that she was feeling better, but still very vibrational and psychically sensitive. She added that she was aiming to attend the unofficial My Little Pony convention, BabsCon, with undisclosed friends, set to take place in San Francisco, California, in April 2020, and was estimating the total cost for the journey to be $2,000 to $3,000.
Damn,
She
dude.
added that an official donation link would be later posted, and shared her personal PayPal donation link in the meantime. Jacob Sockness reflected that her attendance at the convention would fortunately allow the two to meet. A concerned
Yay.
longtime follower of Chris wrote that she should instead focus on paying off debts and saving up money instead of begging for it from fans. Chris then logged into her Magi-Chan Sonichu Twitter account to write that the family were paying off debts the best they could, and that Christine's attendance at BatsCon had been fated to happen so they could use the financial help.
Why do you think you're always getting in court?
That they had allegedly conversed with Magi-Chan, who told them that the funds Chris received should instead be used to contribute
Nobody
to a
should be in
certain
court
fundraiser
that
to aid a
fucking
baby's
much.
medical treatment. Chris replied, still under the guise of being Magi-Chan, but mistakenly on her own personal account, writing that they should not say that they talked to Magi-Chan if they did not in actuality, insulted by the trolling but not malicious habits. The user wrote back that they did not realize saving a child's life was a troll move. Christine in response then donated $10 to the baby's fundraiser. Also
Good.
around this time, the Magi-Chan account began acknowledging one Helena G. Fiorenza, who would post photographs with her drawings of Magi-Chan placed into the scenes, posting as if she was interacting with him. Magi-Chan confirmed that Helena did, apparently, meet with him. On September 29th, Ben Saint continued to draw more panels for his comic, which he colloquially referred to as the Night Star comic. Members of the Place Discord then confronted the alleged Magi-Chan controlling Chris's Discord account about the comic, asking if Saint was paying her any royalties for using her character. Magi-Chan then revealed that she was working on a 15-card expansion pack for the Twilight Sparkle's Secret Chiptech folder card game, which chronicles the events of the slime invasion in Arizona, as written about by Ben Saint.
What?
When accused of theft, Magi-Chan defended him, given that he shared the panels for free on Twitter, but he had a Patreon which Magi-Chan claimed was meant to fund a different comic project, even though Saint explicitly stated in the Patreon page's description that it was meant for the crossover project, combining his own and Sonichu's universes.
Oh, that's
On
interesting.
September 30th, Christine was witnessed arguing with a bot, or user-wide automated system, on Ben Saint's Discord server, which would output written outcomes relating to Saint's comic's malicious slime entity based on other members' commands. Finally, Ben Saint posted further comic updates, to which Magi-Chan responded, reminding Ben and his readers that the comic was not a Night Star comic, and branded Saint's depiction of thefts and abuse against his own original characters, Phantom Horn and Strawberry Milk, as madness and cruelty. He felt that the slime was badly affecting Saint's judgment. Ben replied, writing that after peeling back the veil between dimensions, he was simply depicting actual events, regardless of how violent they were, but was confident there would be a happy ending for his characters. On October 1st, Chris wished her mother a happy and safe 78th birthday, posting a recent photo of her. They celebrated by eating at the Woodgrill buffet chain restaurant. The next day, she posted new artwork featuring Ben Saint's characters, Phantom Horn and Strawberry Milk, mentioning that Saint's chronicling efforts were falling behind those of Christine, who, with Magi-Chan's help, had just completed the Arizona Slime expansion pack for the Twilight Sparkle's Secret Chiptech folder card game. She proceeded to post the artwork and description for her original cards, focusing on Night Star and Chris-Chan Sonichu's involvement with Saint's characters, and the complete and peaceful cleanup of the malicious slime in Arizona by rains of bicarbonate of soda and sugar. On October 3rd, the supposed Magi-Chan asked users of the Place Discord whether Ben Saint was making his comic featuring Night Star for financial gain. The others told him that he was. After listening to their input, he decided to then message Ben privately on Twitter, letting him know that the slime had been cleaned up, and vaguely criticized Saint's use of Chris's characters for financial gain. In return for his read, Saint was asked to send at least $300 to Christine's PayPal account to help fund the printing and sending of the Arizona slime-themed Twilight Sparkle's Secret Chiptech folder expansion pack. Magi-Chan closed by writing that he and his alleged spouse Chris were expecting a large donation from Ben within the coming weeks. Saint then shared these messages on his Twitter account and added new comic panels, claiming that the people needed slime to survive, and what Chris did was akin to genocide. Christine wrote back that the people would instead simply return to being human. After receiving numerous messages from other users, Saint made a post crossly ordering everyone to refer to Chris with she, her pronouns. Also on that day, Alan Christopher founded another fundraiser to help Christine get to BatsCon with a goal of £4,000 sterling. On October 4th, the conglomerate's toy and game-focused company Hasbro announced a 10th season of My Little Pony, Friendship is Magic, continuing the storyline of the cartoon series, though as a comic book-only iteration. Christine expressed her displeasure at the news, demanding that seasons 10 to 14 have to be animated for TV, as the protagonists of the show apparently demanded, and that the next generation of the show could not air until the completion of Friendship is Magic, Season 14. Later on, Ben Saint, in a possible attempt to antagonize Christine, continued to post new images of the characters in his comics, suffering and dying from slime eliminating rain that Magi-Chan and Chris created, pleading for her to stop it from falling. Chris, mistakenly writing as Magi-Chan on her own Twitter account, clarified that the rain had stopped falling and everyone was recovering, and acknowledged that those that had died were the worst individuals. Magi-Chan told Saint to stop his memeing and harping on the subject, because his attempts at toying with Magi-Chan's emotions did not work. Ben also tried to provoke Chris on his slime-focused Discord server, in which Christine was a member, role-playing as his alter ego, the Cop Killer, claiming that the rains had killed over 70,000 people, and that Chris was spreading propaganda denying wrongdoing. On October 7th, she updated her Patreon supporters with new custom cards for the Twilight Sparkle's Secret Chiptech folder card game. Several patrons were angered by her first significant update in a long while, which consisted of cards that were only played by a minor subset of the Brony community, and were not updates to the Sonichu comic books like they were expecting. Also on that day, Christine took an online personality test, both as Magi-Chan and as herself, and found that they were both protagonist personality types, though Chris was found to be more turbulent. On October 9th, Chris responded to a work of fanfiction concerning Sonichu and the character SNT, created by artist and YouTuber Project SNT, which was written by OpusCon789, who was also Kiwi Farms user Something Random 987. After Project SMT streamed herself reading through some of the story on YouTube, Chris and Magi-Chan finished reading it themselves, and reflected that the events in the story in fact happened in Dimension R687, and criticized the author of the fanfic for failing to understand Chris's intentions, taking things out of context, and grossly exaggerating. OpusCon 789 also needlessly warped the minds of SMT and her creator, but as Solace was recognized for their talents in seeing into other dimensions. For the reckless actions involving OCs from dimensions C197 and 1218, Chris declared that Karma would bite their sorry ass for the great amount of damage they had wrought, noting that Dimension R687 was a great mess, where DC Comics superhero Batman laughed at everything his arch-nemesis, the Joker, said. Christine closed by noting she would not sue OpusCon 789. Instead, Fate and Destiny would complete and supervise over their punishment. On October 10th, after spending several days of drawing and scanning original Sonichus and Roshus based on her online friends, Chris combined them all into a single graphic picture depicting the supposed launch party for her new deck of cards for the game while at Sparkle's secret chipfic folder. 2 days later, she addressed her haters who criticized her for making custom trading cards instead of the Sonichu comic books that people on Patreon paid her to continue. Chris wrote that people should be glad that she was making canonical Sonichu merchandise in the meantime before she resumed making more comic pages. Christine continued to live in her own world of idyllic illusion, though supplanting her famed comics with trading cards, perhaps to harken back to his younger years of playing trading card games. But now, instead of seeking the thrill of winning matches, she was enacting fantasies of matchmaking and romance with characters of her own design, controlling a game of love over which Chris herself had no control.
Well, damn. Womp womp. Okay. The fact that Chris calls his own mother guilty pleasure waifu. I hate how much foreshadowing there was to what Chris did. 2007, people abusing Chris. Chris thinks they want to help him. 2019, people trying to help Chris. Chris thinks they're trolls. The more I hear about Magi-Chan foreseeing things and doing nothing about them, the more I view Magi-Chan as an asshole who just wants to watch the world burn. Everyone's talking about how batshit crazy Chris is, but Jacob Sockness makes Chris look like a normal individual by comparison. Literally! Jacob Sockness is so fucking weird. Ew. The bar is basically subterranean, and somehow that guy slithered right under it. Weird. Chris's body count when it comes to cats would put most serial killers to shame. Not the Shane Dawson kind, right? I love how Chris admitted to watching this documentary, and it didn't make him second guess his life choices or made him embarrassed anyway. Should, but no. She likes herself a little too much. I think that's why. The fact that Christine is married to both Magi-Chan and Mewtwo is uncomfortable, given that within Sonichu lore, Mewtwo is basically Magi-Chan's adoptive dad. Magi's own marrying you and your dad. Ugh, God, gross. Gross. Ew. I'm autistic, and this whole series makes me very grateful to my parents for giving me enough of a shit to teach me how to be nothing like Chris in any capacity. Same, bro, same. Someone working for Atlas VPN knows about Chris Chan, a comprehensive history, and watched it. Just imagine someone at the company tried to convince their boss that they should sponsor Gino when they ask, what YouTube content does he do? And the person replies with, he creates documentaries. He has very well-researched documentaries. Oh, okay, sounds good. Let's reach out to him for a sponsor. Gino's sudden transition into the sponsor segment gave me whiplash so hard that got me to watch it. I know, I was like, what is going on? I mean, same with this whole series. I'm like, what the fuck? Hearing Gino reference Chris watching the start of the Gino comprehensive history feels like lapping a slower character on Mario Kart. Chris trying to retcon his own history via his imaginary persona is freaking elite. I know he wasn't the worst person in history, but I think Jacob Sockness is the biggest creep by far that Chris has dealt with. Ugh. So weird. I don't know what's scarier, the Barb foreshadowing or Jacob explaining his plans to crush that Chrissy. Ew. Gino choosing to include the Discord call where they all spend a minute saying what a good guy he is such a power move. Seeing a sponsor was a super surprising, but also made me unreasonably happy to know Gino's finally getting one. I'm happy. I think that's good. Jacob Sockness is way more Chris than anyone is willing to admit. As far as I'm concerned, Jacob is the true liquid Chris. Gino, I'd like to personally thank you for single-handedly teaching me the Roman numeral system. Imagine your homunculus son coming at you and claiming to be possessed by Sonic the Hedgehog. Love how the intro gets more distorted as the series goes on. It lines up with Chris' deteriorating mental state as well, literally. My friend encountered Jacob Sockness while working at a store in San Francisco. That sucks. He introduced himself as Chris Chan's husband and was wearing a medallion. It was sometime in 2019 and I had no idea who either were. Now here I am, 2023, a Christorian in full blue. God. I need to realize who you just met. Jesus Christ. Chris now being out of jail, I think Gino will be working on the series a bit longer than expected. Yeah, that's right, yeah. He has to work on season 2 at some point, please. Because this is gonna go on for a while. Fuck. Alright, next video.
What made it this way?
God, it's creepy.
What made it this way? What is the attraction?
Okay, this was like...
What keeps us fascinated?
Oh, the other one was April 1st, right? Okay, I'm just gonna watch this one, I guess.
Of Chris Chan.
Plus it's shorter, so I guess it's nice. Damn, the glitches are crazy.
On October 15th, 2019, Christine shared a link on Twitter to a page on the fundraising site GoFundMe, which aimed to gather funds for her trip to the My Little Pony-themed convention, BabsCon. A Twitter user asked why did she not get a job instead to make money, to which she wrote that she was unemployable because of online haters, and that she was already constantly employed as a goddess.
Oh,
the Twitter user returned to reply that she would be fine if she left the internet and got a job pushing trolleys at a supermarket, and that she was not unhireable, but lazy instead.
Yeah,
Chris wrote
literally.
back that she was not lazy, but busy instead. Kristen blocked
Shut
her
the
critic.
fuck up.
At the same time, artist Ben Saint continued to develop this comic story to focus on slime and slime-based characters, much to the dislike of Chris, who told him to go back to making stories about Saint's original characters, Phantom Horn and Strawberry Milk. On October 16th, Chris's devout follower and love interest, Jacob Sockness, proposed that she should remove all tiers on her Patreon, wherein people paid less than $20 per month because it was uneconomical. He then vowed to pay for the orders himself, disregarding his trip to her house to instead try help her get the household out of debt. Later that day, Christine notified her paying supporters on Patreon that she managed to catch up with back orders of Sonichu comic books to be sent to her patrons, though she skipped the personally signed requests. As recompense for those who had paid for signed copies of her books, she would send to them her custom-made Sonichu-themed expansion pack for the MLP-themed trading card game, Twilight Sparkle's Secret Shipfic folder.
Great.
During this time, Christine continued to busy herself creating more original cards based around the Sonichu universe, including one dedicated to Sturbanchu, a Sonichu created by the Idea Guys, and Robert Chu. The Idea Guys influenced Sonichu incarnation of her father, Bob Chandler. On October 19th, Chris commented on an update to a comic created by one of her enablers, Rosie Lilichu, which focused on Lilichu's original character, Liliana, writing that she would prefer to see more than the one page per month of the story as was declared by the artist. Also on that day, a user on Reddit posted about his and his brother's experience with meeting Christine when they surprised her with a visit to her home, posting a photo they took together. He mentioned that she smelled a little like marijuana, though it is unconfirmed whether she was partaking in the substance again at that time. The Reddit user later posted an audio recording of their meeting on YouTube.
Jeez, the dogs.
Sorry to bother you, but we've been fans for a few years and stuff, and
Thank you.
I thought we'd kind of get some gifts.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah, it's nice to meet you, dude. Yeah. Anyway, how you been?
Doing all right.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's a good time down here. Just trying to help with the events.
Yeah, I heard about the situation with the guy. I'm sorry to hear about that.
Oh, I don't worry about it.
Yeah,
It's cool.
we're all looking out for your best interest, and you definitely had our support, so.
I like your blue eyes.
Oh, appreciate it. I like your blue and green eyes, they're really cool. That's awesome, yeah. Is it maybe get a selfie or something, or?
I thought you were gay.
Later that day, according to messages she sent to her friend via Discord, Chris's mother, Barbara, began experiencing high blood pressure and asked to be taken to the emergency room of the hospital, where it was determined that there was nothing wrong with her.
Really?
It was a combination of stress and the incoming magic energies of Dimension C-197.
Oh my fucking
Also on
god,
that day,
dude,
Jacob
stop
Sockness
it.
wrote that he was not destined for a normal life, as he was currently chasing after his love, who was also a goddess, over the internet. Chris wrote that she too would not have a normal life, asking what normal truly meant. Jacob then shared a photo of two individuals cosplaying as the Marvel character Deadpool and horror movie icon Michael Myers, respectively, asking if he and Chris could kiss like that during their attendance at BabsCon. Christine replied that she did not want to cosplay as Deadpool or a zombie, but was open to kissing Sockness in the future. Sockness then posted photos of certification certifying that he was free of sexually transmitted diseases for her. At around the same time, Twitter user Righteous for Quick, a supporter of Chris, posted a combined photo of himself wearing a Michael Myers mask with makeup on, and Christine standing against the transgender flag, taking part in the Twitter hashtag campaign to declare that trans rights were human rights. Righteous created his home card for Twilight Sparkle's Secret Shipfic folder depicting himself, and directed Chris to it on Twitter, but did not receive a response. On October 25th, she received her new custom-ordered decks of cards for the MLP-themed game containing the cards she designed. Also on that day, she discovered on her front porch the book The Legend of the 10 Elemental Masters by Aurelia, a game developer who had gained online notoriety amongst forum subcultures some 10 years prior due to his eccentricities. Finally, on that day, Chris criticized Matt Groening and Seth MacFarlane, the creators of the animated series The Simpsons and Family Guy, respectively, for maintaining the unaging and youthful appearances of their characters when they had in fact grown up since their conception. Lisa Simpson, for example, was allegedly an adult by then, who was set to become the next president of the United States in 2020. She claimed the creators were doing so for monetary gain, and it was criminal of them to mischronicle their OCs. Chris admitted that she used to act the same, but was reconciling, making amends, and dealing with many original characters across dimensions. On October 26th, Christine livestreamed on YouTube for 91 minutes, playing the card game Twilight Sparkle's Secret Shipfic folder, utilizing her own custom-made expansion decks of cards.
Took me a long time to settle this up, so yeah, as you can see, I have a few lovely big boxes for my Secret Shipfic folder cards now. That's how tall this pony deck is going to be. One out big, it's going to be this big. Now that's a mighty meaty sandwich. But yeah, you got pretty much shown.
Ooh, I'm already done with the Jolteon. Nice.
Twilight Sparkle's Secret Shipfic folder. I'll be playing Solitaire, that I have been able to figure out recently.
I can't
And just remember what that was. That's our cat, Baby. Our cold cat, Baby.
A new
He has
one?
a bit of a nasal problem. We're taking this to the vet. He's all right, okay?
Wow, what a coincidence that all their cats have some problem with their bodies. What a coincidence, huh? Isn't that right?
Taking care of him. So don't ask about that. Don't troll me about that. Do not troll me about that.
It's not really trolling at this point, Chris, if you're actually neglecting your cats.
What happened? One.
Let me get some tape. I need it.
Oh boy. Okay, let's do a shotgun wedding now between Romeo and Sturdy. What? No. Why not?
That's where to find that shit.
Then I can't tell you.
I like to do the tape method
You
of.
can see how big this chicken grid can get, and this is why you need a card table.
I said shitty.
You know, where the center point is an arm's length. Arm's length. I need to see clean off the table. Thank you. Game over.
Hair.
Of course, it's more fun when you got more than 2 people. One person and you're essentially clearing shit off of the floor. Especially when you have this full. This is full. I have a heavy bag here. You can put in the trash. I'll get to you in a moment, Mom. I love you. And I love you all. Be safe. See you next time. Bye-bye.
At the same time, QB Farms user, Duff, conducted an interview with Ellie Hirschberg, who had created several fundraising campaigns to fund Christine's travels. Hirschberg wrote that he left Jacob Sockness and was waiting on Chris's permission to engage in a 3-person polyamorous relationship involving himself, Chris, and Jacob. Ellie said that he was banned from QB Farms for his dedication to Christine, and that he fully believed in the dimensional merge after Christine gifted him with special powers, which allowed his third eye to begin opening. Publicly, Hirschberg hoped to save enough money to attend BabsCon in California and meet with Christine, calling her his friend who gave him his psychic abilities. On October 27th, a Twitter user whose original character was made into a Twilight Sparkle's secret shipfic folder card revealed that they had played the card game in person with Christine, who gifted them a selection of the cards. Chris also sent cards to other Twitter acquaintances whose OCs were depicted in her custom decks. This included Jacob Sockness, who received 2 cards for the game, as well as a greeting card proposing her love for him, in which she wrote that her mother, Barbara, was holding onto a dolphin necklace that Sockness had sent to her, and that his donated money was used on fresh food.
Girlfriend free boy.
Chris shared the discovery of a convenience store called 812, riffing on the 7-Eleven convenience store chain. Since it was located in New Jersey,
That's fucking
the purported
funny as
location
hell.
of Gotham City of the DC Comics universe, she took it as a sign of the oncoming dimensional merge.
Are you
She
serious?
linked to her Magi-Chan account and posed as her supposed husband, and shared the recent convenience store tweet Chris wrote herself, confirming further signs of the merge. Christine then reasoned with a Twitter user who reasoned that Gotham could not be merged because it was not located in Dimension C-197, since she had mentioned the World Trade Center Twin Towers existed in the aforementioned dimension, yet were not referred to in any work from DC Comics. Chris argued that the Twin Towers in the alternate dimension fell long before, and that they were not mentioned in the comics because they were not properly chronicled. She then took back Repeda's claims and stated that the Twin Towers never existed in C-197, attributing her misspeaking to everything happening that day, making her mind, body, and soul busy. The enablers, Sarah and Steve, then proclaimed that they were frightened after Christine's recent posts regarding the coming merge. She came to quell their concerns. Jacob then wrote that he dreamed of Christine, the most heavenly goddess, and his beautiful one true love, every night, for she was the only one who could soothe the soul of a fire-breathing dragon that was himself. Chris admitted that she may have the power to tame such a dragon god, but confessed that Jacob was not one, and merely a sorcerer and channeler, closing by telling him she had a rough and active day, and was too tired to think. At the same time, Righteous for Quick posted a short looping clip of himself feeling cute after sending prayers to Christine. The next day, a user on Reddit posted a drawing that Chris made of her alleged neighbor and his cat on September 1st, 2018, claiming to share it online for the first time, though it had been posted on QB Farms shortly after its creation. On October 31st, Chris noted for her followers that it was Halloween, writing that the dimensional iron curtain between dimensions was really thin. During that same day, her online friend and enabler, Maker Nightv, argued with Ben Saint about his continued use of Chris's characters and using his comics to mess with her. Saint angrily rejected Maker's claims, writing that he was writing an important story. Christine came to Ben's defense, revealing that even before he began writing about the events of the comic, her character Nightstar had already met with Saint's characters Phantom Horn and Strawberry Milk and sent them to investigate the slime situation. She elaborated that herself and even her family were already involved with the situation, and Ben was only drawing and sharing the events as he was fated to do, though he was criticized for deviating into an alternate timeline where he explored other themes she didn't like. Nevertheless, those events too were apparently fated to happen. Later on, Sockness tweeted at Chris a photo of a significant collection of free condoms. Chris did not respond. Maker Nightv asked her directly if Jacob was visiting her, as he had previously pledged he would. She replied that he was not coming to her house at that time. On November 1st, Righteous for Quick posted a doctored photo of himself in full Michael Myers attire and another individual at a Halloween party, with Christine photoshopped in to stand beside him, wishing that he could meet her. Chris did not respond to his post. Also on that day, Sarah and Steve publicly defended Jacob Sockness, as he had confessed to saying threatening things while angry, and was ultimately not a risk or danger to anyone. Chris agreed with their statement. Sarah and Steve then suggested that devoted followers and believers of Christine may call themselves Quickens, who practice Quickenism. Chris commented that like archivers and students of her activities, or Christorians, her religious-like followers should also have a dedicated term to call themselves. She reflected that Christians and Buddhists were named after the leading figures of their religions, but in Chris's case, she identified as many things, such as console patron unit, possible goddess to the Sonichu and Roastu species of Pokemon, as well as a possessor of a slew of other powers in dimensions 1218 and C-197. After thinking about the topic further, she concluded that Quickenism did not sound right for her, eventually considering the terms followers of Magi-Chan Sonichu, Fox, and Foquix as possibilities, but felt that her followers could come up with something better. She soon after checked with Thesaurus and found devotee as a suitable synonym for worshipper, thusly creating the term devotees of Magi-Chan Sonichu, or docs. On November 2nd, Christine tweeted about the vision she had in which her mother,
That's
Barbara,
insane.
was not part Sonichu or Rosechu, and that after a few years, she would pass on and be reincarnated as a special female Rosechu.
Stop.
Also on that day, Kiwi Farms user, the American Hedgehog, posted 3 newly made Twilight Sparkle's secret chiptic folder cards that were shared with him by some unknown Twitter followers of Chris. 2 of these featured photographs of interiors and exteriors of her house, with drawings of her alleged spouses, Sylvana Rosechu and Mewtwo, superimposed over them. The third featured a background image of Barbara standing in a room with her past husband, Bob Chandler, in his Sonichu form, seemingly standing next to her. On November 3rd, Jacob Sockness shared an article which claimed that the Kiwi Farms willingly hosted future killers and had led to the suicides of 4 individuals, branding Joshua Moon, or Null, the site's administrator, the possible devil in the flesh. Kristen responded to Sockness's claims regarding Kiwi Farms, noting that not everyone on the site was evil, and there was some genuine good among the remainder. However, she did apparently recognize that there was evil in Null's eyes, and thought it best for people to begin to take down the Kiwi Farms permanently. Sarah and Steve then attempted to create a rift between Christine and Maker Nightbeat after Maker asked Jacob about Null's actions, conceivably as a means to develop a closer relationship to Sockness, who was being encouraged by Maker and others to be thought of as an untrustworthy individual. Jacob further wrote that his cross-dimensional alter ego, Michido, proclaimed Maker Nightbeat was worse than the evil demon, Jacoba, acting like a manipulative demon. Christine wrote that she understood the claims, and that Maker's future actions would determine her true intentions. Her recent comments drew concern from Maker and her other online friends, who were cautious of Chris being manipulated into thinking certain detrimental things, like during the Idea Guy saga, and being driven away from the people who had her best intentions at heart. Christine claimed to understand their concerns, and only wished for them to denounce Kiwi Farms and escape Null's deceptive grasp, though her friends stated that most of them did not have any connection to the farms, and only wished for her to willingly see that she was being manipulated by someone who was driving her true friends away. Sarah and Steve then posted screenshots of private messages they had with Chris to prove that her account had not been hacked, which featured a new photograph of herself, solemnly looking at the camera, with her signature lightning bolt, blue heart, lightning bolt emoji insignia lightly drawn onto her forehead. The enabling pair commented that there appeared to be sadness in her eyes. Christine wrote back that she had just woken up for the day, making the post at 12:51 p.m. local time. Later on, Maker Nightbeat denied supporting the Führer of Nazi Germany, Adolf Hitler, as alleged by Sockness, accusing Sockness of believing such things. Her followers proposed that Jacob was trying to create a divide between her and Chris so that he could control and exploit Christine. Chris wrote that Jacob did not make those previous statements himself, but rather the demon Jacoba, speaking through his body during a channeling session. She stated that Maker needed to affirm her good intentions by working with Sarah and Steve. Jacob joined the discourse to state that he was archiving the religions and history of Kitasuna, the alien world purportedly located within the Andromeda Galaxy, the texts of which contradicted each other often, and that he was using quotes from them while addressing trolls. Maker replied that he created Kitasuna himself, based on pre-existing ideas. Chris defended Jacob by clarifying that Kitasuna was in fact real in Dimension 1218, and that he did not invent the individuals who lived there, but merely discovered them and established communications. Maker rejected the claim, with Christine further clarifying that Sockness did not create the Andromeda Galaxy or the individuals who lived there, and that many times his tweets were the result of nefarious characters from Kitasuna channeling through him, asking her why is the concept difficult to comprehend. Sarah and Steve separately told their followers that Maker Nightbeat was being manipulated into turning against them and Christine, writing that people did this to everyone who supported Christine. They warned others to recognize the signs and not fall for their tactics. Chris retweeted their message, reminding her audience that people should keep their common sense, wits, and instincts sharp, clear, and calm as possible, so that they would not fall for the haters' mind games. Later again, Righteous for Quick posted another doctored image of himself, along with other members of the LGBTQ community, with Chris inserted into the group, depicting the supposed dream of himself and Christine the Goddess, forming an alliance. On November 5th, Christine went to vote in elections for the Virginia Senate and House of Delegates, posting a photo of her sticker signifying that she had voted.
Yay!
Also on that day, Allie claimed that she was bullied and allegedly beaten by trolls who tried to manipulate Chris and turn her away from him. Their attacks seemingly included beating him up to the point that he required hospital treatment, receiving prank calls, and getting death threats on his social media accounts. Hirschberg was willing to save large amounts of money to ensure that Christine could attend the BabsCon convention so she could meet her love, Jacob Sockness. He wished Christine and Jacob the best. Also on that day, Chris wrote a series of tweets hoping to rectify the rift that was developing between her most trusted supposed friends. Listen, everyone, please. I'm very well aware of Jacob and Maker. They both are good people with the same goal of concern of my own health and well-being. Jacob is his own individual, but he is presently still easily manipulated by Jacoba. Magi-Chan and I have been working tough and hard to remedy that. We know everything about all this, and we have plans for counter-defenses and measures should anything bad happen. But know this, I, Christine Weston Chandler Sonichu, CPU Blueheart, am not being manipulated by anyone. I am grateful and most appreciative of everyone's continued concerns, kindness, and support. But we all need to stop fighting each other, especially in defending our Earths in due time. She further wrote that she was not going to break up any of her friendships or allyships, and highlighted that they should all agree that they needed to defend their Earths from the likes of Null and Jacoba. On November 6th, Chris remade the tweet directing business inquiries to her business email that was being managed by Null to instead ask people to contact her personal AOL email address, and also encouraged direct messaging via Twitter, as well as receiving mail at her home or even personal visits. Sockness replied with his personal PayPal donation link, asking for donations meant for Christine to be sent to him to assure proper use. Sarah and Steve then asked Chris for advice on their Sonichu OCs, Sarah Chu and Stephen Chu, only to be surprised by the revelation that Christine recalled the characters through shared memories, and that they in fact existed in Dimension C-197. On November 7th, Ben Saint posted an illustrated image of his characters Phantom Horn and Strawberry Milk, deceased and corroded from the slime eliminating rain that was falling on them, implicating that Chris's actions caused their demise. Chris wrote that the picture was from an alternate timeline, while the two in the main timeline were safe in Quickville and then in the My Little Pony world of Equestria during the rain, so they were not affected by it. Also on that day, Watches for Quick posted a curious photo on the subreddit Cult of Quick, of which he was the head moderator. It was taken by a supposed fellow worshipper of Christine, which depicted a steaming sermon in a church-like setting, showing 3 individuals deep in prayer, as the video in which Magi-Chan purportedly speaks through Christine's body is projected onto the wall behind the podium.
Oh, what the fuck?
Later again, Chris posted newly created Twilight Sparkle's secret chipfic folder cards depicting the main characters of My Little Pony, Friendship is Magic, describing their future actions and achievements as was to occur in her foretold seasons 10 to 14 of the TV series. Chris commented that she had not watched the 3-part final episode of the show and would only do so after season 10 would air on the Discovery Family TV channel in the year 2020, and when Hasbro and the cast and crew of the series would confirm the news of the new season. The next day, spurred on by Jacob's proclamations of an oncoming war, along with deadly diseases and nuclear attacks between the 2 dimensions, Chris confirmed that bad things would happen to only the self-counterparts of haters and really bad people of the Earth in Dimension 1218, as they were all isolated to a certain troll city in C-197. However, the idea guys, Joshua Wise and Stephen Boyd will survive because they still owed Christine $6,000.
Felt like forever.
Null and his own persona, on the other hand, were fated to die. On November 9th,
I've been paying attention to the beater thing, so...
organized the multi-creator created Trickery Told video, which had featured a contribution from Christine, released a trailer for their upcoming collaborative remake of the 1996 original video animation Sonic the Hedgehog.
Oh, this will be fun.
Also would be
Time to drink all these pills.
That trailer
I'm kidding, it's empty. Shut up.
Input, seemingly showing Sonic transforming into Sonichu.
What the hell?
Later on, after Chris Chan focused, YouTuber Gibby began posting video updates concerning Chris and the actions of Softness and Sarah and Steve. Sarah and Steve made their Twitter account protected, so only approved followers could view their posts. Jacob then threatened to release Gibby's private information to the media and declared him an abuser of quote-unquote retarded people and transphobic because he did not address Chris by feminine pronouns. Softness proceeded to post many short tweets, ranging from expressing his lust for Christine, who he found to be a mother-like figure, to voicing his disgust at Gibby, announcing him as his enemy. Also on that day, Ben Saint expressed his annoyance on his private Discord server after he ended his most recent comic on a cliffhanger, which placed his character Phantom Horn in a perilous situation, to which in response, Chris intervened in the storyline and drew a new trading card depicting them being rescued. On November 10th, Saint hosted a 4-hour-long livestream with Chris on the streaming site Twitch, during which they mostly discussed their respective comic universes, My Little Pony, politics, and religion.
Should I name a couple more mods? I feel like the chat is blowing up with some randos, some jerks today. Yeah, Healing Spirit asks, I've got a question about the themes of your work, Chris. I found that Sonichu deals a lot with collision, both literally and ideologically. There are all kinds of collisions, all seeming to lead up to one final collision in the dimensional merge. Do you agree with that interpretation?
Collision. I'm gonna say among which, yes, since we do break the 4th wall a bunch of times.
That's true, and you have to collide with the 4th wall in order to break it.
Yep. Yeah,
alright. Okay, Chris, I don't know if you remember this, but years ago, I commissioned you to draw me something. Do you remember this? You probably don't, but it's actually, you can see it right here, where my finger is pointing on the screen. It's hanging up in my room, and I have kept it ever since.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah, essentially what happened to Liquid Chris.
Yeah, because he got pulled down the hole by the Devil Trolls, and then we never heard anything more about him, and I just really wanted to know what happened.
That reminds me of what happened to Pride.
You answered it.
By the end of Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood specifically, because Pride was a King Bradley in the 03 version.
Are you doing No Nut November?
That's news to me. I have not heard of it.
Oh, you don't know about No Nut November?
I'm surprised, because you're on the internet constantly, so...
You don't have sex or masturbate through November.
Basically, you don't come at all. You don't do anything to come.
That's every month out of the year for me, so it's a good thing.
Oh, Ali Banjo Twitch asks, how are your psychic abilities coming along?
Good point, actually.
Very well. I'll eventually be able to show a better example, but they're really progressing pretty well. It's beginning to levitate things much better.
Really?
At least I'm making objects light, very lighter.
Magi-Chan is he living with you right now?
Yeah.
Okay. How's he doing?
He's working very hard. He's making sure everything progresses in the merge and everything goes smoothly and accordingly.
Good, yeah.
On November 12th,
Okay, let me-
Jacob posted a transcript of a supposed conversation between
Let me put a
Magi-Chan
heavy
and Jacob's
object on
alter
here.
ego, Michio, in which Magi-Chan apparently foretold that in order to conceive Chris's
Ow!
daughter, Crystal
Don't
Weston
ask
Chandler,
me.
Chris was supposed to have
Heavy
sex
object.
with
Maybe
and
this.
impregnate her recent
there's
fundraiser
plastic, though, so
organizer,
I don't know.
Ali Hirschberg, who was female to male transgender. Christine wrote that Hirschberg was not likely to be the father of her destined child, and that the posted conversation was said to have been confirmed by Magi-Chan to have taken place, though noted there were some discrepancies. Maker suggested that Magi-Chan did not sound like himself in the transcript because softness made it all up. Chris rejected the claim, citing that Jacob's way of typing made Magi-Chan sound different. The next day, Hasbro revealed their plans for a My Little Pony spin-off series called Pony Life, which Christine rejected, demanding seasons 10 through 14 of Friendship is Magic instead.
You really
In a
don't want
possible
more of
attempt
that?
to irritate her, Jacob theorized that Pony Life was actually the destined next 5 seasons of the show that Christine had foretold, a thought
Just
she
no.
angrily rejected.
Okay, Michael
On
Snyder.
November 16th, she posted a declaration rejecting Pony Life in favor of seasons 10 to 14 of Friendship is Magic to several different Twitter accounts that posted fan art of the new series, which she dubbed Go Pony, comparing it to the stylistically similar animated series Teen Titans Go. In addition, she posted a selection of new Twilight Sparkle's Secret Chick folder cards depicting seeming protests at Hasbro headquarters, attended by Magi-Chan Sonichu, Nightstar, and the main 6 protagonists. One card in particular tells the story of Chris and Nightstar confronting the showrunning executives and demanding that they continue Generation 4 of Friendship is Magic, demands to which they agreed. On November 19th, Chris's second garnishment case with second round sub for unpaid debt was filed, setting the next hearing date for January 15th, 2020. On that same day, Christine posted on Twitter that it was once again time for the Chandlers to need more money, posting a link to her PayPal donation link,
The
asking
fuck
followers
again?
not to tell her to get a job or some shit like that. She added that it wasn't easy completing the Dimension merge, with the restrictions and limitations of the real-world dimension, writing that if it were easy, she would have fully entered Dimension C-197 and completed the merge over a year ago, so called for a stop to the hating and bad trolling. She soon after posted a photo of her mother, lying down and vacantly staring upward, claiming she was giving Chris grief regarding finances.
God.
One user criticized her for showing an ugly side of her personality, to which she apologized, citing her being tired and overworked as the cause. She returned to reveal that she
fucking God.
managed to get enough donations to keep the family stable for a while. Later on, after an inquisitive Twitter user asked her about the C quarters and W quarters as seen in the Sonichu comics, Christine elaborated that it was an idea conceived by the so-called Christine Chan, Chris's self-counterpart in Quakeville, and the coins both equaled 25 US cents. Chris called it a crazy idea from Christine Chan among many, but admitted that she worked very hard to defend Quakeville. On November 20th, Chris tweeted that she completed making the Nightstar and Friends expansion pack for the Twilight Sparkle's Secret Chick folder card game, which featured a card
Fun.
representing herself, Magi-Chan Sonichu, the so-called OC of OCs, depicting her drawing of
What the
Magi-Chan
fuck?
Sonichu with a new photo of herself imitating her character's power pose. On that same day, Jacob Sockness confessed that due to poor advice from his sugar daddy or elderly sexual partner, who also provided him with monetary supplements, he did not have enough money to pay rent for his apartment in the near future, and also likely could not save enough to attend the BabsCon convention in 2020 and to meet with Christine, who also seems to not have enough money to attend either. The next day, Kiwi Farm's moderator, the American Hedgehog, noted that the title of a 2010 Chris-Chan YouTube video was cited in the Cambridge University published book, Colloquial English, Structure and Variation, which listed Christians, quote, Tito got no luck against we Brits, Irish and Scots, as an example of using the nominative pronoun we in an accusative case. On November 22nd, Christine
What the
shared a
fuck?
link to her new website, QuakeVilleShopping.com, where she sold her custom-made expansion decks of cards for Twilight Sparkle's Secret Chick folder. Twitter followers complained about the high cost of the cards, but Jacob defended
That's
her,
crazy.
claiming he was going to use them as tarot cards, or a means of gaining insight into one's past, present, and future by drawing and interpreting cards.
Yeah,
On November
literally.
26th, Chris livestreamed herself playing a solo game of Twilight Sparkle's Secret Chick folder for 1 hour and 36 minutes.
I am not reading your comments, so your hate is not being heard at all.
Well, womp womp.
Hey, Maker, shout out to you, Maker. Very good night, Pete. He's a good boy. And there's a cat. Oh boy, there's your little baby. Get off the table. But without further ado, let's get to shuffling.
What do we do comments? Oh, boy on you, haters.
You know, why not? Since this is a gender change card, we'll just say the wild oats to is male now. You have James stuff. There's no jerk out. Sandy. There's Walsh. There's Walsh. Okay? There's the epic online boy. That's a fucking British boy. What the? No. Remember that thing. Okay. Let's go with 3 male ships and play in a single turn. Okay, so anyway, after this also, I'm thinking my brain is going out of order. Essentially what's going to happen is I'm going to be talking with vendors and online sellers and who sell Secret Ship Fit cards, and I'm going to talk with them, and I'll let them sell our deck and expansion packs between their websites and their conventions, including BabsCon. So,
At around that time, one of Chris's paying patrons stated in a Discord conversation that they still had not received any Sonichu issues as promised. They also noted that their boyfriend had sent Christine a letter telling her to stop trusting Softness, attempting to bribe her with $9 and some magic cards. On November 27th, after reading Jacob's most recent tweets, she confessed that even though she loved and cared for him, she could not be close to him due to unknown reasons caused by the merging of dimensions. She added that people should stop bullying Softness for the things he said while under possession by Jacoba. After declaring news of a great struggle that was to take place between the Earths of 1218 and C-197 and the evil Rokot Empire of Kidasuna, she reiterated that she could not be Jacob's sweetheart, and pleaded once again for people to stop bullying him. The following day, Jacob created a new Twitter account, Goddess Emmanuel, playing on Christine's belief of the feminine god creator, and shared with her a falsified direct message from YouTuber Gibby, he made himself, which purported to show Gibby's communications with Null, revealing that he lied about Softness in his videos, was part of the Idea Guy saga, and was directly involved with stopping the merge. Chris replied to Goddess Emmanuel, claiming that she knew of Gibby's vicious intentions and manipulations. However, her decision to push back Jacob's advances was not caused by Gibby's videos, and it was largely because Softness had for the moment expended his usefulness. Chris remained confident that the merge would not be delayed and would not fail, in spite of Gibby's bullshit. Also on November 28th, she made 2 tweets to commemorate the American holiday of Thanksgiving, writing that she was thankful to be in better communication with her supposed spouses and new people she had met over the year. Furthermore, she was thankful for her growing powers and the dimension merge coming closer to fruition, and her abilities to discern the legit from the bullshit.
Well, that's fucking terrifying, I'm sorry. What?
After a decade-long cycle of bullying, mistakes, and ill-judgment-ridden adversity, Christine found solace after rejecting the reality that treated her so harshly, greatly aided by individuals seeking some semblance of internet notoriety, driven by the misguided belief that they were contributing to a story of historical events.
What's going on with the outro music? Why is it in a different key all of a sudden? What the fuck?
For flipped to her own devices, she may not believe it was possible to escape
the
the consequences
C major all of a
in
sudden?
search of a better life.
Or like D minor. The fuck? Only the April Fool's video is the true and honest ending. I'm not reading that. Someone's already fucking said that. I'm always amazed and horrified by the Chandler's ability to maintain a revolving door of dying cats. Oh god. There's going to be an apocalypse and everyone will die, except for those 2 assholes who owe me $6,000. Unironically really funny. Gotta appreciate that even now he still feels the need to draw special attention to Mary Lee Walsh. It's been 20 years and she probably forgot Chris even exists. The duality between Chris and the ideal April Fool's timeline getting a job pushing cards versus our timeline where Chris rejects the idea because being a goddess is a full-time job is amazing. I can't imagine how much work that episode took. After the April Fool's prank, watching these is like getting the good ending then going back to see what the bad endings are like. The photo of Bob Chandler Sonichu after his first drop in the plaid pattern next to Barbara is the trip. Imagine your 35-year-old son coming up to you after your husband dies and says, "Don't worry, Mom, he's always with you, see?" and shows you that. Oh, God. Like, I'd rather die with him now. Christian is what happens when someone says, "This couldn't possibly get any worse," and God takes that as a challenge. Like, oh, you bet! It was once again time for the Chandlers to need more money. I've never heard begging phrased so beautifully before. Chris is actually probably right about being unhireable. It would only take one Google search from an employer, and most employers do Google potential hires nowadays. And any chance at a job opportunity that may have been there would instantly go out the window, literally. Christian is what untreated and mistreated mental issues look like. Okay, can we stop doing this comment? Everyone's fucking told that joke already. Every other troll dying in a merge except the 2 who scammed Chris out of $6,000 because they still need a repair is so funny to me for some reason. Twilight Sparkle Seeker's shitfic folder is like audio sandpaper to me now with how many times it's said. Seeing someone like Chris with an I voted sticker is truly nightmare fuel. Now that I think about it, where did Kim Wilson go? Is she just gone now? Maybe I didn't pay attention to some parts. Chris playing an MLP card game by himself is maybe the saddest thing ever. Always pisses me off how anytime someone does fan art for Chris, usually way better than Chris's own site, it's always better. They always just nitpick it and sometimes even copy it without credit. And Chris, of all people, telling someone else to make comics more often is just extra fucking rich. You can't fool me, Gino. You already released a Part 74 where Chris finally sorts their life out. I'm already familiar with your game. Chris Chan is the ultimate definition of the wild neighbor's kid in adult form. Drink every time Gino says Twilight Sparkle's secret shit-thick folder card game. Don't. You'll die. In fact, you make cards for a real game with his OCs like they're actually going to be used as insane levels of narcissism. I like to imagine the intro will begin to turn into orchestral sounds and eventually straight up Gabriel's horn as the end comes. Oh god, no. They're dropping so quick. Closer and closer to the prison saga. I'm scared. Chris's cat literally wheezing in the background since it can't breathe due to neglect. Chris, don't worry about that. Don't troll me about it either. God, I hate Chris so much. Poor Gina. With recent Walmart and mall sightings of Chris, his work isn't over yet. I'm fucking scared. And Chris has been making YouTube videos again and it's annoying me. Okay, judging by the thumbnail here, this has to be about Gamer from Mars' documentary on Chris, which I actually watched way before watching a comprehensive history here. It was just crazy. Oh, whoa. Oh, the way that was like, I like how that fucking disappeared way after the other text. From personal experience, I feel like Gamer from Mars is a documentary, like full 5-hour documentary, is like a prelude to the comprehensive history. It like gives you a less detailed explanation of what's happened in her life. And like they actually go to her house to talk to her, and Jesus Christ, her house is a nightmare. Worse than mine somehow. Oh right, Joltan's done. Fuck, that's so creepy.
What is the attraction?
Ah, God. Fuck.
What has fascinated? This is the story of Christian.
It's still hot. God. It's still hot right now.
On November 29, 2019,
God.
after Christine
Does it have to start with Jacob Sockness?
Sweetheart, Jacob ordered her on Twitter to wipe the Twilight Sparkle's secret chippic folder expansion deck commemorating his imagined world of Kidasuna from her mind, since he claimed copyright over the stories and characters she used, and would let her use the cards if they got married. Chris conceded that she experienced the slavery in Kidasuna herself, and that her memories could not be copyrighted. Sockness, however, persisted that he owned the names used on the
copyright
cards,
nickname
or
like memory. What the fuck am I even saying anymore?
Conversing application Discord in the Arbitrage Quick Alliance server, where members of the Place Discord server roleplayed as their CPU personas. Chris confirmed that she had reserved a room to stay in while attending the My Little Pony themed convention that was to take place in early 2020 in California, though she still has to plan the train trip to get there, among other details.
Okay, let me do Flareon now.
That she did not include Jacob in her plans at all. In the server, Chris also revealed her daily schedule, which included taking medicine in the morning, followed by meditating while playing the game Tetris 99, and going out on errands while walking at a brisk pace, with occasional bursts of fast running speed on impulse. On November 30th, the user Righteous for Quick posted a photo of a custom-made pinching device inspired by the Japanese franchise Kamen Rider, which purported to grant its users temporary powers of a CPU, or a Sonichu, or Roastu. He then posted an animated GIF of a transformation initiated by such a device as seen in a Kamen Rider game. Chris responded, expressing her interest in the device, and asked Righteous to discuss it with her through Twitter direct messaging. On December 3rd, YouTube user The Sergeant at Arms, a seeming fan who exclusively archived Chris-channelated videos and collected Chris-chan memorabilia, uploaded 2 videos.
Wait, what the fuck?
Twilight Sparkle's secret chippic folder cards, which depicted the villains throughout the Sonic.
How the shit? Is Blanca back? Vivian G's?
After watching
no way!
Christine emailed the Sergeant at Arms, informing him that his cards were not perfect, and let him know the correct image format to use. She added that she wanted to use the expansion pack for herself, and offered to help him make the cards better for the game. Soon after, Chris sent to Sergeant direct messages via Discord to let him know that she was happy to be of help and approved of the expansion pack. On December 4th, she returned to tell him that from the information she gathered by watching the videos, she remade some of the cards after making some improvements, providing him with the files. After another day, Christine advertised on Twitter that, with the permission of the Sergeant at Arms, she recreated the full pack and made it purchasable on her new quickfillshopping.com website. The Sergeant at Arms later revealed that he did indeed give permission for Chris to use his card ideas. On December 6th, YouTuber and artist Project SNT posted a video of her illustrating her reimagined appearances of the chaotic combo troupe of
Whoa, that's really cool actually, I like them.
Vaguely of her irritation and dislike of the redesigns, being unable
Are you fucking kidding me?
to Project SNT's drawings. She left a comment on the YouTube video.
They're better than your shit, Chris. I'm sorry, but they are.
Her comment with a slew of emojis representing shock and disgust. The next day, Christine dramatically confessed that she was in pain. She further elaborated that she was dealing with a urinary tract infection, writing her thoughts and feelings by sentences constructed with words out of order. She also hinted that she had sent Project SNT, or Courtney, an email concerning the chaotic combo redesigns. She later revealed in the Place Discord group that the email she sent was impulsive and rash. In addition, in response to watching Project SNT's video, Chris began developing a strong interest in the tabletop game Dungeons & Dragons, which was cited by Courtney as an inspiration for her redesigns of the Sonichu characters. On December 8th, Chris showed off her newly created expansion deck featuring lore and artwork created by her Twitter enabler, Helena G. Fiorenza, who often posted composite photos purporting to show her spending time with Magi-Chan. One Twitter follower ridiculed her for a card that showed a still frame from the video taken by the so-called where Christine seemingly embraced and kissed her supposed wife, Crizel, with Helena's drawing of Crizel
kissing while visiting friends.
Chris defended the moment, stating that it actually happened, and that her teenage friends did not mind the interaction, calling anyone who mocked them neurotypically hindered. Another Twitter user declared her former friends to have been trolls, to which Chris wrote that she allegedly knew they were trolls, but added that they were also kind individuals with good intentions, telling the user that she would not listen to their bullshit. When other users pointed out that she may be sued for selling cards using the My Little Pony name Twilight Sparkle, amongst other critical remarks, Chris called those critics neurotypically hindered as well. Christine then advertised her complete set of all her custom decks for sale for $330 in time for the Christmas season, with many followers complaining about the seemingly unrealistically high price. In response, Chris listed a breakdown of the printing and shipping costs involved, legitimizing the listed price, concluding with, "Any further questions on their pricing? You neurotypically hindered trolling stupids. Where's the comments? These cards are part of the comics, Dundernuts. Shut up. Put up. I'm sick. Good night." Also on that day, Chris live-streamed herself on YouTube taking photos of her custom cards for 1 hour and 43 minutes.
Hello, Christine Denver. Coming to home once again. Today is something pretty special because we pretty much have enough products to actually take good photographs. So I'll be using my second phone. I got 2 phones. One for my trolls, one for my trolls, one for my homes. I got 2 phones. One for the movies, one for my friends. You think I need 2 phones? You're recording with one, you take a picture of the other one? I think that's a very good reason.
Sure.
Hey, baby, don't mess with that. My cat, baby. Hey! Don't mess with the keyboard. Don't mess with the keyboard. Now it's cat video. Where's cat? Cat. No. Alright, there you go. Yeah, don't mess with the cable. I'm recording here. Don't mess with the cable, you mess with the power system. Let me just right here, so number 1. He needs his tail to be a leaf. Its gliding properties make him able to fly and jump higher. Don't people get on pony pottery some tail, Courtney? Come on! God, I'm gonna trigger me. Anyway.
You sound like Marge Simpson, bro.
From the stress I had of watching that video with the redesigned chaotic combo, a lot of coal fires again, and that's what I've been dealing with yesterday and today. Quarantine. I have to deal with really messed up brain. That's why I ended up, not on purpose, just ending up making scrambled sentences. Alright?
Okay.
That's why my brain was really fried from the virus that was coming in. Stress. I took advantage of positivity and optimism and as calm and clear mind as possible for meditation.
Yeah, try it, because it's not fucking working, girl.
And then this fated triggering set happens, and I just... I may not be reading your comments, but I'm actually hearing your comments telepathically.
Sure. Then read mine, bitch.
I'm not giving up. Y'all can show
It's a stuck my balls. Oh yeah, I'm still doing the beat thing. I'm doing Flareon this time. Forgot to point it there. What up, bitch? You're kind of seeing my setup in a way, I don't know.
No, it's because you're not standing them upright. Because you're making room forward, there's not much friction on the bots. Hey, you're so dumb. You're so dumb. Go get yourself first. Yes, I can hear you all, but you're not getting me, so shut the fuck up.
Oh, that sucks.
There we go. Now we have all our lovely photographs and all the other IDs to update the items on the pre-sale shop.
On December 9th, Christine updated her Twitter followers with the news that the cold virus made her lose her voice, but continues to rest, meditate, take medicine, and eat chicken noodle soup to soothe herself.
Cannot
On the
deal
10th,
with your
she wrote
talk
that the
again.
virus she had caught was being stupid, but she was physically pushing it back. She went on to write that she was in her infected situation because of the triggering caused by Project SMT's chaotic combo redesigns. Christine wished that the creator would acknowledge her since she had sent an email expressing her feelings about the matter and only wanted to sort out the problem as soon as possible. She closed by asking her followers to not troll Project SMT. Courtney herself privately admitted that she would be publicly ignoring the situation.
That's
Soon
good.
after, a Twitter follower pointed out that since Chris believed in a multiverse theory and that characters were not created, then she should not have become upset over Project SMT simply chronicling alternate
Exactly.
forms of the chaotic combo that existed.
Very good
Chris had
point,
difficulty
actually.
in acknowledging their reasoning. In response to another one of her critics, Christine explains what made her triggered. I did get epic triggered from Project SMT's 4 redesign choices on 4 out of 5 of them. They actually are moreover separate individuals and redesigns, which does throw me off. The only exception is the punchy Sonichu redesign, the worst culprit being the wild Sonichu redesign. He needs his leaf for better gliding and flight than a large tail could ever do, and Sonichu ears are typically long. And yet, regardless of this, apparently there was something deeper than that that just sets off my subconscious worse than that moment at Too Many Games where I went hedgehog. Worse than that, this resonated as a reminder in my
Where I went
subconscious that
hedgehog
was
is
life hell to
crazy.
me, and I am still racking my brain trying to figure out why for myself. Neck down, the image is not offensive at all to me. Neck up, triggered. I cannot even look at it directly. It freaking bothers me like worse than hell. The only theory I can gather is that it reminds me of someone of really awful intentions or design. But at the moment, at Project SMT, it badly reminds me of Dave the Intern and Justin Bieber.
What the
On
fuck?
December 11th, Chris wrote into the gameplay
Justin
Discord
Bieber
that
is
she was
insane,
apparently
bro.
projected to Dimension CS89, which was a universe inspired by the tabletop game Dungeons & Dragons, and was also the location of Rule Quick, Chris's imagined kingdom inspired by Hyrule, as seen in the
What the
Legend of
fuck,
Zelda video
man?
game series. Christine claimed that she brought from CS89 her own self-counterpart, some treasures, and a couple of characters from the Hyperdimension Neptunia game series over to Dimension C197 for their own safety, as there was a merging of those dimensions as well. She then relayed the same sentiment via a Twitter thread, adding that Courtney's redesigned Sonichus and Roasters were from Dimension CS89 as well. She claimed that the triggering of the redesigns was in fact caused by a disturbance in the aforementioned dimension. On that same day, Chris revealed a newly drawn Twilight Sparkle's secret chipfic folder card depicting Chen Sonichu's conversation with Courtney's original character, SNT, who possessed a quote-unquote inhabitual attraction to which Chen was immune. Christine added that she was open to the idea of featuring Project SNT's redesigns in an expansion deck of cards, letting the artist know that she had Chris's email address in the case she was interested in collaborating. On December 12th, Ali Hirschberg, Chris's supporter and frequent fundraiser founder, mentioned that he finally received his promised custom Twilight Sparkle's secret chipfic folder expansion deck of cards, but noted that he had yet to receive a Magi-Chan medallion, which he ordered and paid for nearly 3 weeks prior.
What the fuck?
Christine wrote that she had been sick and was still recovering, in addition to everything else, reassuring Ali that she had not forgotten him. She then added that while she was slowly getting better, her supposed wife, Grizel Roastju, had apparently contracted her cold, but was being tended to by Chris and their other supposed spouses. The next day, Christine once again changed her reasoning for getting triggered at Project SNT's redesigns, now stating that it was because
you don't like the idea, guys, and yet you're still using Grizel
Roastju of the robot empire, inhabiting the world of the
still married to those
fuckers. By Jacob's softness. Christian after tweeted at Project SNT again to let her know that she managed to solve the problem of her using the Dungeons & Dragons style dimension CS89 by transforming herself into Chen Sonichu, inspired by the cleric class of D&D character, and fulfilled the mission. It was also at around this time that she began playing the massively multiplayer online game Dungeons & Dragons Online. On December 13th, Chris expressed her displeasure at seeing a list of top 100 memes of the 2010s compiled by BuzzFeed News because it did not include her, despite being memed and bullied by trolls since 2007, noting that SpongeBob's BloBer, or the cartoon character SpongeBob SquarePants, was voted as the #1 meme. Finally, she tweeted that she apologized for her reaction at Courtney's redesigns, now admitting that they and the video were very good. On December 14th, Chris asked members of the Place Discord server if they could help her find out how Project SNT was feeling about what Christine publicly said, since she felt tense at the lack of a response. Chris did not want to pledge to Courtney's Patreon or join her Patreon in the Discord server because of past bad experiences with artist
she's gonna have to block you too, bro.
Cole Smithy, who both refunded and rejected her patronage. Some users noted that they did message Project SNT about the matter, but failed to receive a response, telling Chris that it would not be right for them to keep pushing her for an answer.
Exactly.
The next day, Christine asked the Place Discord members to remove softness from the server. Later on, she went to the server of her dream, in which she was in the Walmart store in Charlottesville in the year 2004, and witnessed her past self, Christian, as he was back then, who became attracted to the present-day Christine, seeing her as a pretty woman, and began pursuing her.
Excuse me, bitch? What the fuck?
Turned her head upside down to scare Christian
Chris
away.
has found the boyfriend for your girl, herself.
Understanding of how other women thought of him back then. When asked, Christine analyzed the dream to signify that she was not fond of the person she was back then.
Albeit not slim,
horny, and impulsive,
albeit not,
was chronicled in the
not
Christian,
slender,
a comprehensive history YouTube series by Gino Samuel 2.1. Meanwhile, Christine proceeded to draw more custom cards depicting scenes and characters from Kidasuna, Jacob's creation, even though he told her they were his copyright, and she could not use his ideas without his permission. On December 16th, Chris shared an advertising poster for Twilight Sparkle's secret chipfic folder cards, which was designed by Righteous for Quick. The next day, Chris claimed that a new Hyperdimension Neptunia game, VVV Tunia, which featured interdimensional communication, was a sign of the dimensional merge.
No.
The user then told her to shut up about the merge and get her brain fixed.
Thank
in addition
you.
to getting her mother medication and preparing for her upcoming court date.
Exactly.
Christine called her critic neurotypically hindered and claimed that there was no court date upon checking the matter herself. She wrote that Barbara was in good health, and if the user were to resume his reproaches, she would block him. When confronted with a screenshot from the Greene County District Court website listing her upcoming court hearings, she declared the image as fake, claiming all financial situations had been taken care of. When another user criticized her for using the term neurotypically hindered, which they saw as meaning autistic, Chris corrected them, elaborating that the term is neurotypical, or someone of average brain ability. When compared with someone with a more powerful brain ability, such as someone with autism, then the normal brain ability would therefore be proven a hindrance. Later again, she listed her full collection of Sonichu comic books up for sale on her website for $100.
So are you saying that autism is a superpower now?
In reference to noted author J.K. Rowling denying that the sex of a person could be changed, Christine disagreed with her sentiment, writing that people could change their physical gender, a fact she knew
to be fair,
she was
fuck
a legitimate
her.
CPU and goddess. Also on that day, Chris asked the members of the Place Discord server
fuck J.K. Rowling, to be fair.
SNT, noting that she had been active on Twitter recently. Chris revealed that she was mildly ticked at Courtney's lack of response. While Christine posited that the artist may have been contacted by bad trolls, other members concurred that she probably wanted to be left alone and would not pursue her further on the topic. During this time, Jacob Softness, now operating his new Twitter account, centralized imperial government of Kiyasuna continuously tries to lead Chris away from Maker Nightbeat and Ali Hirschberg, branding them illness figures in a possible attempt to extend further control over Christine.
What in the shite?
Soften's actions included encouraging an online acquaintance of Chris to hurt themselves and asking Ali for Maker's
What
name
the
address,
fuck, man?
under the misguided belief that they were romantically involved. Christine's online friends denied any wrongdoing, with Chris also defending them, but passed off Jacob's accusations as words he was influenced into saying by the demonic Jacoba. On December 20th, Chris's garnishment case with second round sub was marked as closed for unknown reasons. 2 days later, Chris played another game of Twilight Struggle's secret ship fake folder.
Jesus Christ, can I stop hearing about this game for 1 second?
Atop the
Shit.
table, notably shipping her deceased father, Robert, in his Sonichu form, Robert Chu,
No.
with her former classic striped shirt.
What about Ted Bundy? What about Bundy Chu? Where's he?
New artwork and
Kidding.
custom
I'm
cards
kidding, no.
depicting Sonichu, Rose Chu, and other Sonichus. On December 25th, she shared a new card depicting her mother, Barbara, reincarnated as a special Rose Chu,
Why?
nicknamed as a redneck tomboy, whose cards had the ability to replace a shipped cards on the grid. On December 29th,
Why the
an artist
fuck,
on Twitter
man?
publicly posted their illustration of Chrissy's phony character, Nightstar, after sending it to her twice, but failing to get a response. Helena Fiorenza notified them that it was because they made Christine angry, because Nightstar was drawn in the style of the new My Little Pony series, Pony Life, which Chris did not approve. Chris herself interjected, noting
Get
that
the
even
fuck
though
over
the
it,
drawing was
twat.
sweet, it was done in the style of what she dubbed Go Pony, which was something she did not like. Also on that day, Helena posted a photo of Christine lying down with Magi-Chan drawn into the scene, as per Chris's request. Finally, Chris went to Project SNT's Patreon page to like a recent post from her. At the end of the year, YouTuber, the Gamer from Mars, traveled to Ruckersville, Virginia to visit
Oh,
Christine
yes,
and record
there it
themselves
is.
spending time together, which contributes to an extended YouTube series detailing Chris Chan's life that will be released at a later date. Chris's YouTuber friend, Kopitz, who helped the creator establish the interview opportunity, acted as an intermediary and
There-
accompanied
oh,
them
Kopitz
throughout
is
their
back, yay.
interactions.
I totally
Okay. Yeah.
I didn't realize that was Colpitz.
Okay.
Jeez, fucking dogs are crazy.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what they're immediately greeted with.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, this is very nice.
Yes, the room was
This is where it all
Sonichu. It goes back to Scream. They come down after a little bit.
Is something all right now?
Yeah. Is that okay?
Oh, hello. Hello there, YouTube internet. All that. Hello. Hope y'all having a good day. There's my daddy.
What kind of animal?
He's a Sonic chip.
Are there any places
No.
around so that where you can play this game with people? Like
Yeah, but yeah, the EPN games one. It's
Oh, okay, yeah, okay.
Alright.
Some free-play Tetris here.
3-player Tetris? A 3-way? What's fucking? I'm joking. Shut up.
An organized chaos. This is my creative method.
Oh wow, I can't believe this video. Man, I can't believe that video was released before the jail saga. Oh my god.
It's alright. No, you don't have YouTube.
So they probably didn't know what was coming then. Shit.
Do you have the pro control?
I literally just realized. Wow.
The dogs are barking. They're grumpy honkers. There's nothing for you out here.
No, it is
Let's
not.
see. A Microsoft controller is compatible with a Nintendo system. It's the moment of truth. No.
Dog shot! Do that more time.
All right.
Hey.
Frank said that. I understand now.
No shot! I'm gonna fuck my hair out! It's
Jeez.
stumpitude.
God.
Yeah, sure. Taste of India. That's one of my favorite places.
Bro, the fucking sound bar is gonna be like freaking QR code. It's not really granola bar.
Yeah, it's pretty empty.
Ooh, that's fun.
I just feel like I have to do this. First time in here, I gotta do it.
Oh no. They're like, no, don't do that, don't do it. No poo.
Welcome to Quickie Mart.
See, like,
Indian people are real and they're not a poo from The Simpsons.
So, I mean, if there's something I don't like, then
It's so funny that the only concept of Indian people that Chris has is fucking Apu from The Simpsons. That's so funny to me.
well, at least I tried it once. Yeah, I'd definitely be open-minded for trying some haggis if I ever go to Scotland or something.
What is haggis?
Sheep guts.
Oh.
I
Really?
never noticed it, but oh, Susanna, oh, don't you crap on me. But I'm doing my name. Oh, excuse me.
Oh, and there's a fan.
Can we get a picture?
Yes.
do you want me to take it again?
Yeah, that'd be great. Thank you so much.
That's gonna show up on Reddit.
There you go.
Thank you so much. It was great to
That's
meet you.
insane.
Meet you
I do
too.
too.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
That's fucking funny as hell.
It doesn't happen often, but when it does, it's very fun.
Oh, sure enough.
So you don't get people coming up to you too often?
I'd say on average, probably like once or twice a month.
Okay.
But it's very humbling and good when it happens.
That's hard.
Oh, it's absolutely fine. Thank you for fighting for us. I'm sorry that you had to do that.
Okay.
No problem. Nice meeting you.
Take care.
Just trying to get a feel for, like, you know, just if you're on
Finally,
good terms with
Mark's
anybody
eating
from your
again,
past, now if there's anybody still talk to you. It's kind of just been you and your mom.
Yeah, it's been mostly locally. It's mostly just been my mom and I mostly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, pretty much her and I. Oh, and Magi-Chan Sonichu and everyone else that's.
Oh yeah, those.
Hey,
I
out
forgot.
on the roof. Keep doing your good work. They're on. Yeah. On the roof, and we got Pokemon all around, in this yard. Yeah, I see them. I see beyond the Iron Curtain, which is just the barrier between this our dimension 1218 and their our dimension. See, when I said where the majority of our OCs exist and coexist, every one of them.
Have you ever talked to Gino?
Yeah, I DM'd him just saying, hey, thanks, you're doing pretty well. Keep up the good work. Just essentially supportive.
Magi-Chan Sonichu, your husband.
Yeah.
Hubby.
Yeah, it's always been there.
Yeah, he's always been there with you, and he had the wisdom to know that, you know,
All this
he
about
all the
just
trolls and
texted
everything,
me.
that it was all trolls, but he is it right that he, why didn't he tell you? Why didn't he tell
I
you?
don't have an auto. I don't even drive.
Right now.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait. So, yeah, we got the Architect Divine. That's been divining us, and I'll
That's the one good thing about being useless is you know you don't do the things that the scammers are trying to.
Here at the time, and
they think you're doing.
All this to me is I looked up in Gino Samuel, and then there were like a whole bunch of great moments where even Magi-Chan was like, oh my god, I can't believe she did this.
What's that quote?
Quoting, just when I quoted the bit, as the Shane gags. And then took that, and ended up taking that from my guy, Family Guy. Even Magi-Chan had said back then, you weren't supposed to take a literally, Christian. What the hell is wrong with you? Something like that.
What does your mom feel about your husband and the interdimension stuff?
She has grown to believe that she was kind of neutral about it at first and hesitant, but then the events happened and more events, and I managed to prove my psychic powers ability to her, and she actually did manage to speak with Magi-Chan and the others at one point or another. So yeah, so she's a believer.
What did you do to show her to prove it to her that this was going on and you had these powers?
Well, among which I can literally do this. I can heal people and essentially access the memories of those just like.
Okay then. What the fuck? Dude, this music is so funny.
And any ailments she had, I would just heal them right now. So like, you know, if you were feeling ill or something, I would heal them. Because I did heal something on my mother that time, and she believed it.
I kind of have to.
And I did that
What?
more than once also.
Excuse me?
I kind of have to go to the bathroom right now. Could you like relieve that of me?
No, you have to.
I
Yeah.
gotta do that myself.
Yeah.
All right, I'll go.
I'm not an outside bladder.
On January 1st, 2020, Christine wrote her first tweet of the year, commemorating his old song and video, I Got a Fish. Later that same day, she began following the Twitter account representing the End Games card game store, from which she was banned nearly 2 years ago, hoping to be allowed back in so she could play Dungeons & Dragons with other players. On January 4th, she received her newly purchased glass brand water bottle, which purportedly contained a built-in amethyst crystal with alleged healing properties, into which she supposedly put her own energy via meditation. The users on the KV forums researched the item and found that the water bottle cost $84, excluding
Damn.
shipping and handling.
Oh,
Later on,
gross.
Christine became a paying Patreon supporter of Project SMT. By becoming a patron, she gained access to the private invite link, which allowed her to join the Project SMT Discord server. Christine sent a friend request to Courtney's sister on Discord, which she accepted. Later again, Chris shared an invite link to the Arbitrage Quick Alliance Discord server with her followers on Twitter, writing that she ought to be more active in servers such as the one she shared, but couldn't, since she was busy offline with responsibilities, work, and faded events. As a result of her invite, the Discord server was flooded with new members, who proceeded to post nude photographs of varying merit, alongside committing other trollsome acts.
Oh,
Moderators
Jesus.
of the server managed to oust all the unsavory characters, and threatened to ban anyone who would publicly share the invite link to the server, though did not address Christine or reprimanded her in any way. On January 15th,
Oh, wow.
the End Games card game store tweeted their commendation for new signage for the store, designed by some of their clientele. Chris implied that if she was let back into the establishment, she could contribute to it with her talents and abilities. 2 days later, in response to KV Forums and Twitter user Tig Balan telling her to make more comics to present to the management of the store as a portfolio, Chris responded with a thread, telling them that she would continue making Sonichu comics at a later point, since the current events that were to be chronicled were all happening right freaking now in these moments.
Scary.
Christine added that in order to get necessary help in the supposedly restricted real-world dimension, which had been getting inflowing magics and powers, she needed the assistance of past or present staff and patrons of the End Games to play the game Dungeons & Dragons with real people who could teach her all the intricacies of the game. Also on that day, possibly to reflect her discontent with the My Little Pony owning company, Hasbro, for failing to continue making the animated series Friendship is Magic, Chris tweeted at them a set of 21 moon emojis. She then quickly deleted her post. On January 19th,
walk.
Chris went to one of her Discord servers to post a set of 33 photos, exhibiting her extensive collection of stones, which purportedly held powers of magic and healing. She explained that her self-written miniature booklet detailing all the powers and purposes of each stone was evidence of her remaining mentally and emotionally grounded, dispelling allegations of being delusional. On January 21st, Chris addressed the claim of ancestral relationships contained within the stories of her Sonichu comics. Hey everyone, a think piece I wish to offer in regards to an awful premise that has been stated about me before.
What the fuck?
Sonichu and Rosie's relation to myself and Christine-chan. Christine-chan is my main/central self-counterpart in C-197, acting independently, wow. Partly taking X number of attributes from me, directly and physically, from the subconscious. I discovered/created
it's self-cessed,
Sonichu and Rosie,
right?
the
Literally.
very first Sonichu and Rosechu in all existence. Christine-chan was aware of my existence nearly her whole life, and she had titled herself as Sonichu and Rosie Rosechu's original creator, while, in fact, I was the original creator of the three of them in a sense. There was a shift between the respective original creator and original creations. While neither Sonichu or Rosie were related by blood, they were related in the sense of them being the same OCs from I, their OC, and the same ruling is applied between them and Christine-chan and I. No direct bloodlineship. But, in the shift between O-creation, O-creator, the O-creation is allowed to see their O-creator as their legal guardian or parent, and optionally the O-creator, so in their O-creations as their non-related friends, allies, family, son/daughter, sibling, or whatever suits the individual O-creator. With that, my son and Rosie call me their mama out of the respect. They also called Christine-chan their mama, since she was a direct self-counterpart for me, working from my subconscious, believing for a long time that she was the original most creator of Sonichu and Rosie, and not I. Yes, she felt omnipotent in that, and it did go to her head, but she got over that long ago when I made my better mark and participation activity in their area and lives. The hater-type trollish misconception of this relationship between OC and OC thrusted unnecessarily upon myself, Christine-chan, and Sonichu and Rosie, and I quote the trolls, without actually saying it about anyone, or even endorsing it at all. Incest being wincest. OMF.
Incest being
I won't go
wincest.
into detail, but I am well aware of what it is and entails. But it is not considered incest at all when any relationship that happens between O-creator and O-creation that do not share any bloodlines at all. And I, personally, seriously disapprove of incest and would never practice it at all. Obviously.
Oh yeah, no, not at all. Not at all.
Such negative circumstances upon anyone other than yourselves, thinking you're above us all when you are not at all. You have just as much right and ability to socialize offline as most anyone. The major hang-up you have, and I do empathize on this, as this was I, once upon a time, over a decade ago, in being severely shy and socially awkward. That is not your fault, but you do have the resources these days to talk with others and get help and insight on bettering yourself. So you're not stuck behind a monitor all day, 24/7, or whatever. And
I should not be hearing that
your
from Chris
job
herself,
is
I'm just saying.
never ever a good response at all, as most jobs are taken. You're not totally qualified. Your background checks automatically epic fail every time, regardless, or whatever is your own individual circumstance and fated events in your life. But I digress. The bottom line is, incest is never wincest. Epic, ugh! And you're pushing hatred on anyone else, including other O-creators, who have at least one O-creation that appeals to you, and your skill set may not include being able to make such good OCs. It is all moot and nonsense. Which is why I am even more glad to ignore the majority of negative commentary anywhere online, and I also appreciate the irony that is present on the fact that I am continued to be talked about, concerned over, prayed to, and overall appreciated, despite the unnecessary hate. And shit you may feel, or wants to shout off to get your own rubbing game on, or whatever. Even more, ugh! Never diss the relationship between original creators and original creations, unless there is actual direct bloodlines between them, and do not misconceive or fabricate such negative nonsense upon anyone. Hashtag love conquers hate. Thank you for listening. Lightning Bolt, Blue Heart,
Surprising, listen, I'm almost out of black.
On January 23rd, Christine noticed that the End Game's Twitter account had blocked her, writing, Ahem, I see. I am not surprised by this result. No matter. I have faith everything will still work out in our favor. It is a shame my projected presence with Magi-Chan in your establishment yielded to this bitter parsnip. Krakow. Lightning Bolt, Blue Heart, Lightning Bolt emoji. As time went on, Christine's interdimensional lore grew and became more convoluted, confusing herself and others by mixing what creating and chronicling characters and events truly meant, trying to hold on to her make-believe idyllic world, despite its tearing at the seams right in front of her. As a possible reaction to her perplexement, Chris sought comfort in others in the real world, who could help her expand the lore of her fantasy and encourage her to keep moving forward, though it appeared to be a Herculean task, since Chris was still Chris.
Yep, basically. Damn, son. Alright, the last one for today. Finally. I disapprove of incest and would never practice it at all, aged like milk. Consider how Chris yells at dogs. There's no way Chris would be able to handle having a baby, much less have kids with their destined sweetheart. Literally. Chris, I used to be socially awkward. Also, Chris goes into a quiet Indian restaurant. Hello, I am a fool. Thank you, come again. I don't care what Chris's dream says. There's no way his past self would be attracted to his present self. Looking back at his requirements for a boyfriend-free girl, Christine fails to meet several criteria. That's what I was saying. Going to sleep watching us only to be woken by the barking dog times, it's truly one of the scariest experiences of my life. That's unfortunate. When Chris imitated Apu when entering the Indian restaurant, my face sucked into itself from his secondhand embarrassment. I swear that was awful. Quick's use of neurotypically hindered reminds me of Peter Griffin saying his dinner was shallow and pedantic. The fact that Gino had said multiple times he does not want to talk to Chris or work / have any kind of relationship with him is such a chef's kiss. Thanks, Ghost of Bob Chandler. Chris's ability to be so ungrateful is astounding. Chris loudly doing an Apu accent in an Indian restaurant has to be the most brutal thing I've ever seen in my life. I mean, how socially inept could you possibly be to do something like that? That was so stupid. Like, why? Why? Props to the guys with Chris at the time who immediately shut him down when he started being racist at the Indian restaurant. Even though they were playing along with him otherwise, as soon as it became offensive, they nipped it in the bud, literally. Shout out to Gino for having to say Twilight Sparkle's secret shitfic folder clearly with a straight face. Ugh. The fact that Chris can't help himself but impersonate Apu from The Simpsons the moment he walks into an Indian restaurant is the funniest shit I've ever seen. Chris being ableist is simultaneously absurd and completely in character. Yeah! SMT not responding to Chris is probably the smartest move anyone who has come into contact with this black hole has ever made, and ironically probably upset him more than if she had responded. Napper, what are you doing here? I can't do this anymore. I will watch every part. That's how I feel. In fact, his very first thought when entering an Indian restaurant was to do the Apu accent loud and proud speaks such volumes to his lack of awareness for literally anything. The way he just laughed it off all confused while the guys told him to stop shows he has no idea how or why that could have been offensive and is just upset they didn't like his joke and let him finish. Like, wow. What the fuck? Those beagles howling make this house seem even more like the Ninth Circle of Hell. I think they added an extra 10th one just for that. I just have this sudden feeling that every family in Ruckersville has this Chris Chan talk. Something like, listen, he exists, and as long as you avoid him, it should be fine. Don't encourage him, don't talk to him, just don't make eye contact. I just bet every time Chris is out in public, everyone around just gets a pit in their stomach. That conversation Chris had about healing Barbara is made even more horrifying now that we have additional context. It feels like I'm in an abusive relationship with the series. It keeps hurting me, but I keep coming back. That's literally how I feel right now. Jeez, fuck, man, okay. I'm glad that's the end of that. I'm still crying, fuck. So anyways, that's all for today, my gemsters. If you like this video, you better shout out that like button. Don't forget to subscribe if you like me in general. That's all, folks. I'm out. Fuck.